G'day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to episode 4 for League Down Under's 2021 revival season for the podcast. I hope you guys have been enjoying all of our podcast/vodcast so far. And we're back once again, of course, for our 4th attempt at doing this, because so far the past 2 episodes, I think they've been about 50-50. Some people really enjoying them. Some people think they're shit shows, but it's still a good thing. I don't know. I hope you guys have been enjoying them, though. And we're joined by a familiar co-host and 2 new guys joining us here for League Down Under, of course, because of our association with Summoner Society here. First off, the co-host, the man who's doing all the work behind the scenes, carrying mountains, I think, at this point. It's absolutely insane, the amount of work this man is doing. Teacko, how you doing? I mean, absolutely insane the work you're doing right now.
Yeah, well, alongside you, I've been on all 4 episodes of season 2, or the revival season. So it's a lot of fun seeing all the different faces and being able to, shit talk every single one of them. It's great. It's great.
I mean, you say that, but I mean, like, you also do all the editing, you do the recording, you do the uploads. Is there anything that I think you did the graphic? Was that you as well? Is that something I can't even remember now? Like,
only for the standings.
Only for the standings. Okay, right. It's too much.
Yeah,
it's too much. I mean, we'll get someone else to help you. Or unless you just want to keep doing the weights, keep lifting.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone else can do it. No. At least not to my level, like.
Like I mentioned, of course, got 2 new faces joining us here for League, and of course, not new faces for Summoner Society. However, first off, the man from WA with the fancy hats, he's got to hide the head somehow. It's Weapon. How you doing, my man?
Yeah, doing good, man. Like, I'm actually like so hyped to be here. Like, as soon as I heard you were doing a podcast, like, and that we've actually had a chance to like talk like League of Legends and like occasionally, sometimes say fuck.
Yep.
Like, just so on board.
It's like, the freedom, right?
I love this. Every second word out of my mouth, and like Mendrix is already blasted. Like, probably have to cut that.
They're not supposed to know, damn it.
No, like this is sick. I'm so hyped to be here.
I was about to say 60 glasses of goon in Mendrix here joining us. So it's no different from earlier in the week with the circuit. Hey, how you doing? Welcome down League Down Under.
Oh, mate, it's been a busy day, I must admit. And there's been a few things happening as well. And I love how you preface the start of this as our 4th attempt. Yeah. At what point does it stop being attempt? And every time, doing shit or good job, right? Like, what point? All right,
we're like an artist who has like, we got like draft 1-1-1-1.
Yeah. It's continuous for every timeline we've got, man. Don't worry.
What I love about that weapon is when you said like you're like an artist. I just imagine like a painter just throwing like paint at a canvas and be like, "This is my first attempt," and then like going for the next one. I'm gonna throw it again. My second attempt.
As much as like this is a great podcast, best podcast in the OT amateur community. Yeah. I would say that I would characterize, if we had to characterize LDU as an art form, it would be the guy throwing paint at a canvas.
Yeah, honestly, look, I hope it works. Maybe I'll throw another paintball at it and might just here we go. You know what I mean? Just keep painting it right? And hoping it sticks,
Guys, I think that's higher praise than what this podcast deserves. It's just shit.
You're so welcome.
We just do it. We rock up. We say a bunch of stuff. Hope it's at least half funny and coherent. Make sure people don't get angry with us for saying things we might or shouldn't be saying. And we move on. And that's what we do. That's why we're definitely not pre-recorded. We've got plenty of good segments to cover here for episode 4. Of course, more coverage of the Summoners Invitational Circuit Week 4 that just recently happened with some huge upset matches coming through. We're going to be doing an introduction deep dive into casting and commentating as well. We thought, maybe a great subject. Maybe you guys might be interested in to see our backstories into how we got into casting. Maybe how you at home could get involved in casting if that's something you want to be interested and involved in. Of course, esports continuously blowing up every single year, getting bigger and bigger. So, and especially our region, I want to say over the past few years especially. So keen to see that and want to help you guys out with that. And we're going to end the night as well with the cast. Of course, another fun segment. This time, doing something called Draftception from the mind of Weapon. Because, of course, when we have just color casters everywhere, we need to have some sort of big brain segment because monkey segments don't work. They need to be high IQ. I think apparently it's the only way we're allowed to do these segments. There's no gun to my head right now. Don't worry about that. It's there somewhere. Don't worry about it. Definitely what we want to do. It's stop. Enough of that.
Can I just interject? I love how it's like tonight we do it because like Weapon's like, let me show you how I'm going to destroy the Mendrix. Right? I know it's good because I know he went to a work function. I'm going to get him so good today. I'm like, mate, I got you. We'll see how we roll.
I will quickly say, not actually from my brain. The initial idea to do a mock draft did come from me, and then Formal added the 2-layer thing.
Of course,
true.
We're gonna see later on. That was genius, and I'm so
any opportunity for that man to try and one up us. You know, it's just every time. I mean, it happened last week. You know, it's happening.
He doesn't need to try. He just does, all right? Like, remember the amount of times we're just kind of like, and like Formal doing this. It's like, of course you're doing that. Formal. Like, come on, man, share it around, share the. Man.
I mean, I'm pretty sure his birth certificate says Formal casting as part of his actual name. So it has to. It's permanent. He can't stop it. We've tried to stop it, but it just keeps happening. We can't stop it. Maybe one of these days we can finally one up him, but he's not here. So I mean, I guess we can now. We can kind of make some colorful jokes and terminology while he's not here, as is the tradition of League Down Under. I'm waiting for the counter for the amount of jokes made about midnight that happens, because it's happened 2 weeks in a row now, and Teacko always loses his shit when it happens. So it's fantastic. He can't stop himself from laughing and smiling about it. It's like the only opportunity I think he gets to laugh and smile about that, because any other time it's
the only joy in his life.
I mean, technically. End of the day, technically, Ewan's our boss, right? So the best time to hit him when he's not here.
True. That's very true. But, you know, that's how we get shut down eventually as well. So, hence the attempt number X going through. But if you want to see the previous attempts at our podcast, League Down Under, you could do so over on the Summoner Society YouTube channel, where we have all the vodcasts uploaded if you guys want to check that out. Or you can check it out on our official Spotify over at League Down Under if you prefer the audio option. I want to try my absolute best to not make fun of the audio listeners this time, but if there's more visual gags happening, I mean, there's nothing we can do about it. It's just going to happen, right? And if you're the fifth wall. And you know, if you don't use Spotify, but you use one of these hipster other audio platform services that we're also on, those being Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, or Radio Public, you can check us out there as well. I've never heard of any of them, but apparently we're there. So you know what? We'll take that. You know, if people want to listen to that, that's fine. The more audio listeners, the better. I've heard actually quite a few people have been starting to tune in a lot more recently, downloading the podcast. So
I need to interrupt, Baz. I feel like a boomer right now after the amount of like possible podcast areas that you could do to that. I just I was like, oh my god, like, what do you mean there's more than like iTunes and SoundCloud? What?
Okay.
What are you talking about?
Look, to be honest,
podcast on Spotify, like.
Yeah. No, to be honest, like, I'm the one that's setting all this up, and even I don't know all these platforms. So, look.
Just going for saturation.
Yeah.
Where do I put my iTunes card in? I don't know where this goes. Where do I put it? But yeah, if you do use any of those services, check us out there as well. We'd really appreciate that. And you know, a lot of you guys actually have been enjoying them so far, so I hope you still do until we ruin it for you. But hopefully that's not this attempt with these guys. Hopefully it's with some other guys and we can flame them later. I think it's time we dive in, gentlemen, to our first segment here for episode 4. Of course, we're going to be covering week 4's action of the Summoners Invitational Circuit for the Split 1 2021 season. We're going to get up the current standings for you guys now. So again, another reason why you should be watching video over audio sometimes. Here we go, the most up-to-date standings so far, and you know, again, a lot of the standings very similar to what we saw from last week's QT Tigers and Weekend Warriors still being on top, 4-0 right now, but there's a couple of teams here that we're very surprised to see are still towards the top, some that are towards the bottom as well that we're questioning, and some that are just, I don't know if they're showing up or not. They're kind of 1 minute they want to play, and the next minute they're just inting. I don't know, it's really strange, but guy, any quick thoughts or opinions on the current standing so far? I mean, I know there's quite a few you guys want to talk about here.
I'm going to start. I love MCOM. Like, I've been talking about them since about the start of this season. How they probably not the best team that we have in our circuit. Look, they're obviously not they're not the strongest. We've got teams like the Weekend Warriors, sorry, not the Weeknights. We've got QUT, but then MCOM, they start coming up. I have a little bit of faith in them, and then they push that faith, and then they decide, yeah, you know what? We're gonna take that to the extreme and make sure Teacko looks good.
Yeah, awfully kind.
Is that the reason?
Yeah.
I don't think so. Okay, just because he had. You had like that dotted line contract signed with MCOM once last year, whatever it was you had, right? I don't think that's the reason.
What's his name? Latte hit you up. He's like, yo, man, like, I got some dollars.
Hey, man, I do PC building streams on Twitch. Can you please sign me up? I need to be. Go on, Weapon. Get us away from here, man. I'm sick of this already.
It's all good. No, like I agree. MCOM actually looks sick. Like I think is like mad smurfing. Like it's insane. Yeah. Like massive shout out to 3-5, not only for the clean interview, but also like he said in the interview, he stepped like literally from support to jungle in like the last minute. Pick Gragas.
Stressing out.
Yeah, which we don't think is like. I think we pretty much unanimously agreed that Gragas is not like a top tier jungle pick, but it's something he like made work. So that's awesome, like sick. Jerry got basically a free lane against YGX's Ari, like in the last week. Pingo and Peekaboo, like they held up their end of the deal. Like that's a Fed Kaiser, like. Yeah, pretty much. Like it seems like the strategy for MCOM at the moment is just like they kind of just win like lane, and then it's a very Ziz type look. You know, it's just kind of like you win lane. The difference is they don't quite look clean once they've done that.
Yeah,
but then they right the ship at the end. You know.
I mean, like I want to talk about the contrast of that and the idea, like when Ziz like specifically pick lanes that will scale towards that late game, and then they're sitting there like, look, you can pick a lane bull if you want, nothing's going to happen. And MCON on the flip side of things are like, no, we will pick those lane bullies, we will pick those ones that need to perform early, and then we'll just win decisively afterwards. They're honestly the dark horse, if I have to like really put it out there. If I could imagine like a Black Knight rocking up with his black horse in the middle of a jousting tournament, like, oh, that's some dude I don't want to deal with right there, oh my god, you know what I mean? Like MCON literally just fit the letter in every single way, because they've been coming into it. Everyone's like, we're not expecting too much. Oh wow, he just cleaned his head off. Jesus, what do you mean? That's sort of the scenario that these guys have been given to us, and now they've gone from being that like unknown factor to this. No, you are a heavy hitter in this tournament. Everyone needs to be watching out for them. Even QUT, who have been like, I love to sit there going like, oh yeah, you know, the skill gap's amazing. Skill gap's great. Yeah, I feel like these guys are gonna be like, oh god, they took a head off like out of the blue as well. So I feel like MCON really needs to be watched out by all these teams, even the top ones that are sitting there happy on their little high horse at the moment.
Yeah, man, like fully agree. Like I think like once this team starts to clean up their like macro, like mid game, like this is a team that smashes lane. Like this is a scary team, like going forward. Like,
and they're getting better and better, right? Going week in, coming in, getting better, and they're learning from every game. I mean, they took out one of the big teams that we'll talk about, of course, in a little bit as well. I just want to make a quick correction on my end, because I've been saying for the past couple of weeks that MCOM, a brand new org coming to the circuit. Turns out not true. They were in the Split 2 2020 season in the top 16 teams that we had invited for that. I'm not going to lie. I did forget the not finals of the Split 2 stuff, so I do apologize, MCOM, for that. But, you know, if you want to be technical, MCOM technically haven't been a part of the traditional circuit format in any of our seasons before. So it's like I'm half right and half wrong. So take your pick, whatever works, I guess.
Have you seen what it stands for, by the way?
MCOM.
Yeah, military commission, apparently.
Yeah, right. That's
yes.
I was expecting something like much more, you know, like cool. I'm gonna be
kind of cool.
Completely honest with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool, but like as someone who's also knows a bunch of military guys, like I've, you know, like it's a bit like, yeah, it sounds like you guys are, you know, just jumping in military housing, having a good time playing games. You know what
I mean? but as an insider for MCOM.
Yeah, the insider work for him.
So Kappa Latte was was part of the military. He started MCOM as like the community for the military to be able to like have like all their gamers to be able to game together, and then it sort of developed after he left into like a tournament organization. And so yeah, I was told it was main community organization something at the end.
Okay. I need to interject. So you're telling me it started off as a bunch of guys in military housing playing games together?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, like, I just had to put that out there.
I mean, to be fair, it's a lot better than some of the other names we used to seeing where they're just gamer names. You know what I mean? It's just the hardcore, edgy 16-year-old, like, Dark Dragon XX69 squad or whatever.
I like how 69's always like the default number at the end of those names. It's like
you have to have an XX, you have
69.
to have an underscore 69.
Or like
it has to be there.
Bunch of X's.
Absolutely, you have to have X's, underscores, 69 and like maybe a dash somewhere, or like one of the letters has to be a number as well.
I'm just waiting for like in 30 years time where it's like I took your house and the divorce 69 is like the next name.
Pretty sure I played solo queue against that guy.
But
smash me on me.
Of course he did. And of course, MCOM was probably like the biggest standout one. Obviously, Error as well, finally finding their footing coming back here. 2 wins in a row, some big victories for these guys as well coming in. It's good to see these guys are coming back into it. But, you know, Kraken still not at their best at the moment. We're definitely questioning what they're really doing at the moment. They're 1-3. They're tied up with Desire and the Weeknight Warriors at the moment. They've had 2 shocking games in the past 2 weeks coming out. And, of course, Exile as well started off strong. They've started to drop off as well. We've seen as the season goes on. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, how the games develop going into week 5. And we kind of cover some of the week 4 games, get a bit of an insight into week 5 coming in now as well, guys. As we're going to talk about MCOM against Kraken, of course. We talked a lot about MCOM there. But well, what about Kraken? I mean, these guys, they've split 2 champions of 2020, right? They've been involved in so many of our circuits over the past years. They're one of the most recognizable amateur orgs. And even most of the players I have so far, recognizable names as well. But, I mean, to put it bluntly, they've just shit the bed the past 2 weeks, right? They've not shown up at all. So, because, and you know, it sucks for me to say that, but they've been some pretty hard stomps against a lot of the teams they've been versing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I want to say it was Kraken had to compete against MCOM, not the other way around. But that's, as you said, Kraken, they haven't been performing really well. I think that's sort of gotten to their mental. On the flip side, MCOM have been performing rather well. They were 3-0 right now. 3-1, sorry. And so they're coming off a high, and they're going to continue this high until they lose a game. And even then, they're going to be like, we're positive. Our win ratio is positive. Let's keep this up and see if we can carry that into...
We're positive that's the case.
Eliminations, yeah.
Yeah, man, like, I don't know what's happening with Kraken. Like, I think the point you made about, like, their mental being off is, like, that feels like the case. Like, there's just something going wrong in that camp. Like, the top half of their map just collapses basically, like, every single game, bar, like, the one they did pick up, which I think was against the Weeknight Warriors, which is, like, I mean, that's another team that's at the bottom of the standings.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird that we look at a team that has Piglet 101 and Real Opal in the bot lane, and we're like, hell yeah, that team's sick. And yes, you can ask questions about, you know, why GX's champion pool. Like, I question it all the time. And like, our freaking MVP of Saberus, and this team still can't like put it together. And it's hard to really say where things are falling apart. It's like weird drafts, weird gameplay. Like, it's just nothing's like sort of gelling.
Yeah, weird drafts is definitely up there. As something that comes into it. I think like the last game that they played was actually a pretty solid draft in terms of what they put together, but they just fell apart in the solo lanes. I think just the performance just is not there where it needs to be. And sometimes you can say like, hey, it's a draft. Hey, it's just one player. Hey, it's that. But sometimes it's just the team's just not there across the board in terms of what they need to be doing. They like when they come together and they start communicating, you can really see it like starts to play off, because there was definitely signs when Kraken could turn that game around. I mean, I was the one commentating on it. Their peak potential was amazing. And I'm looking at this. I just remember looking at this game and just saying like, hell, if they literally just played that laning phase like 20% better, 20%, they win the game. You know what I mean? Like, there are definitely clean moments when I can say that. I'm thinking when it's not hard to clean up the early game. Like, arguably speaking, the early game is the one like point you can hone just by playing League of Legends.
Yeah,
all you need to do is go into solo queue and just keep smacking your head against the wall. And that early game is that point you can be like, oh, I'm versing Z, or I'm versing X, or I'm versing Y, or I'm versing, you know what I mean? Like, basically, like, insert champion here. This is who I'm versing. And you can kind of sit there for the first 5 minutes. Maybe there's no jungle interaction. Maybe there is, whatever it is. But at that point, you can sit there going like, yeah, this is relatively on me at this point. Yeah. If you're not having that clean early game, it's kind of hard for me to sit there and say, it was the team's fault. It's like, no. You kind of need those solo laners to like really like knuckle that down and actually have that, because that's at that point when it is literally on you. That is literally there's a word for it, I can't think of it. It's like, it's
like your agency, right?
Yeah, your answer is right. It's a self-agency. That's the perfect word for it, Weapon. My God, that's literally what I wanted to hear.
Got you, boo.
It is. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. It is like, yeah, it's self-agency, right? There's a point where the game is self-agency, and there's a point where the game is team-centric. And that early game is literally that self-agency, and some of these players I honestly feel like need to like self-agency because they're literally ruining their team standpoints, which might be their strength, right? Literally their strength. You don't need to be amazing at that self-agency part. You just need to sit back, relax, and get to that point where you know your team's strong.
Weekend Warriors.
Yeah, exactly right. No, you go, Weapon. You're good.
Yeah, no, sorry. I just want to jump in and say, like, I do agree with that. Like, there's obviously you want to be able to have agency, smash lanes, do it like be an MCOM, be as is. But like, there's also just moments where I'm seeing in Kraken where like their team play is falling over. Like, there was one play that comes to mind where it was like you've got a bot lane in Tristana and Nautilus that can buy priority and buy tempo. In Real Opalporo, like to his credit, this is a player we've seen in the OCS. Like, he knows what he's doing. He made the tempo play towards mid. They got a kill on the Fizz, and then Saberus, bless his soul, just kind of wandered in there and just died. And I think like it was like a Gragas, like I think it was Gragas Jace like picking up the kill on the backside. Yeah. But like basically like it's just kind of a situation where like Poro's like seen the play. He's made the right call, and he's seen the tempo and made the pick that they needed to. And then like the extension of the play, like whether there's any calls around that from a team level where they're like, hey, Saberus, like you don't need to be there, dude. Like you're Shyvana. Like go hit camps. Like, man, come on.
Go farm up. That's your job. And I know Hedgie as well wasn't too happy about I guess Saberus' last two jungle picks because they've been like these farming type junglers, and he's not been very happy about seeing those. He's very vocal about that. I want to say in the past 2 weeks. But
I like the meta, man. Like, that's the meta right now. You know, like it honestly is. You know, these hot, heavy, clear champions, and it's like cool. You know, maybe it's nice to have a Gragas or a Lee Sin or an Elise like that. But as soon as that nerf came in, where it's like, no, you need to clear 4 camps to hit level 3.
Yeah.
You know, then all of a sudden farming champions are like, yeah, boy, let's get the Udyr in here and just smack mid as much as we can, right? Like, that's literally what it comes down to at that point. You need to play the meta.
Fairly matters,
priority first ban on MCOM, right? They first ban Udyr straight up, get rid of him. So
yeah, get you a jungler that does both, and Udyr is that. But like, I mean, heading into that meta, like we were still looking at a meta where even like your most gank centric junglers were still 8 gank first clearing. So like, it didn't really like hit that hard. Like I don't necessarily hate the Shyvana in isolation. Like my boy Pabu, he made it work at the LCO. But the problem is that like when you're picking a farm jungler, like jungle diff is support diff, and that's where really Poro, like I feel like he did his job, but unfortunately got a little bit screwed over by Saberus trying to do too much. And there was also just like a weird like there was one point where they dropped mid lane tempo completely, like sacked like 3 ways just to go up and kill the Jace. And it was just not worth it. Like this team just looks like they're panicking at every stage of the game, and like just probably need to take a breath and be like, okay, here's how our team works. Like just chill.
Oh, and absolutely right. If you are going to pick the Shyvana pick, the Shyvana pick needs winning lanes. Like that's just how it works. She like, for example, like, you know, in the case of like Udyr and Hecarim, you don't really need, like, it's nice to have winning lanes because it really just accentuates the lead that an Udyr can get, because you kind of go like, well, I've cleared all my jungle, let's like start moving into the enemy jungle, let's see if I can pick some stuff up there because I'm Udyr and I can just kill them and walk out regardless, right? Or the same with the Hecarim just like walk in and just kill them, and it's just kind of like, no, you think this is your jungle? No, it's my jungle, fuck you, you know what I mean? Like that's literally what it is. Like, you know, that's what it comes to feel like. But on the flip side, when you've got a Shyvana, like, yeah, she's got good clear, but she's still not like, she doesn't have that same threat as like walking into the enemy jungle to do that. Exactly right. The presence is not there. And so you're relying on your mid laner, your bot lane, and you're relying all the lanes really to like have that control. And they did pick for it. I mean, when I look at like Renekton versus Jace, I understand that Jace should win that. I understand that, but Renekton's still a lane bully. Renekton's still got the capability. Right? Yeah, like Renekton's still got the capability. Like I like, this is my turn to shove the wave, and if you try to attack me, you will have 6 to 7 minions immediately auto attack you, and you have to deal with that, right? And then the flip side, Ahri just needs to just like Q, and she's generally fine. Like, or she just like Q. Oh, it's hitting the turret. Let me back now.
Good last chapter.
Q. I'm level 6. I'm going bot lane. I'm going top. Like that's like literally like Ari what she needs to do, and she can 100% do that against a Fizz. So I think it's just a matter of them like really understanding their matchups, and then maybe I'm oversimplifying here. Like, fair enough. I wasn't playing those games, but at the same time, I can sit there and go, I remember like jumping on and being like, my Ari's like gold level versus a diamond player and being like, I'm just not going to, like, I'm okay with missing like 10 CS just to get this lane into the damn tower. So I'm not going to die, get that roam off and possibly create pressure elsewhere. You know what I mean? Like, that's completely fine. The idea is, of a pro player in that scenario is you play that, you still get that 10 CS, you still get that extra chip damage onto the player, and that generates more advantages elsewhere.
I think that's fine as well, because, like, I mean, you got to remember as well, when this lineup came in, they had subs in on the side of Kraken as well. So Ronald coming in, again, another amazing ADC we've seen throughout the years. Did spectacular. He's like one of the only, I guess, stand-up players from Kraken as well from the game, with the bot lane with Pyro coming through, because, you know, as you guys mentioned, like, Saberus didn't really do much in the early game. He did more towards, I want to say, the mid to late game, which is just Shyvana things anyway, right? But at that point, it was kind of too late. And I know there's so many comments we had while watching the game, just mad skills. Just, it looked like he was just hard inting into IZH with the Jace, right? The amount of solo queues that Jace kept getting time and time again in that early game was disgusting. So I think it's a good point to bring up where Teacko brought up with, I guess, is the mindset, right, of the players and the team, and what you guys have brought up, and just understanding the matchups, right? It seems to be like Kraken have not just one issue, but just multiple, right, all at once, and they've got to try and just do a full reset. And maybe just stay to the basics or something like that, right? And just focus on themselves, because I know that's been an issue with teams in the past for the circuit, where they've been like, oh, we've got to focus too heavily on the meta, or we've got to focus too heavily on the enemy team, but there's not enough focus on their own team, right? And what they're comfortable on, and it can really harm their chances later on.
Like, I think the note that I would probably leave on with Kraken is we rate these players highly. Like, there's a reason I predicted them heading into the game when I was on desk. Like, we know these players. This to me just feels like a bunch of really good players who need coaches.
Yeah.
Like, that's all it is. They just need someone to be like, here's what you do in this situation. And like, they probably already intuitively know it, but someone needs to just be like, here's what you should have done. Or they need to sit down as a team and be like, here's what we should have done. And like, they'll probably start winning again. That's all it needs. It's just like a little bit of consciousness.
Yeah.
Otherwise, awesome players.
I think so. Like, Kraken's one of the only teams. Sorry, Mitch. Kraken's like one of the only teams that don't have a coach. To add to that point as well, out of like most of the teams in the field. So maybe that is actually a really good point to bring up.
Well, like, I think, like, you know, to like also just jump onto that instead of what I was going to say before. Like, this is, again, you know, we're trying to have fun here to a degree. You know, some like the Summoner Circuit is literally like, hey guys, you know, you can be serious, you can do that. The point is to be that bridge to OCS, to then be the bridge to LCO.
Hell yeah.
That being said, if you don't need you don't have to get the coach, guys. Like, if you do feel like it will get you to that next level, if that's what your goal is, jump on it, make sure you do it. We recommend you grab it. But I think on the flip side of things, it's like, yeah, you can see where the effect is starting to roll in with the players that do have the coaches and the players who don't have the coaches. Really does start to play an effect. And sometimes, like, you'd be surprised how much a little, like, a coach might say, hey, like, this is lacking. Just jump in some solo queue games, focus on these specific aspects, and then bring that to your team play. And then next thing you know, it's like, oh, wow, like, we've got a very clear improvement for the whole team because one player is literally doing the thing that they should be doing. So I think the measure of that is like, yeah, you know, maybe they don't have that coach. And like you said, if we give them that coach, they could have it. They still don't need to have the coaching. Like I said, they're excellent players in their own right. And I also think it's also a matter of, hey, having a coach also helps you identify the meta at the time, the right champions you should be picking, and also what you should be focusing on. So there's a lot of things that come into that.
And that kind of plays in like what we talked about with Kraken, like the multiple issues they have, right? Maybe it doesn't have to be a coach, but maybe even just like a supportive role of some kind of it. Just in general, doesn't have to necessarily be a coach. Right? It can just be someone that gives supportive words, or maybe like have an outside opinion. Basically, that's not just obviously us, because you know a lot of players don't like just listening to us, like, oh, these idiot casts,
fucking narrative.
Yeah. Now, what do you play? Like, Iron, you're lucky to play 2 games a month. Shut up. Like, it's whatever. So we get that, right? But, you know, maybe having the support of which can be there, because MCOM is a perfect example of, again, I don't want to say New Org, obviously, because now I've been reminded that they're not. But to this degree of play, I want to say they are. And 3-5 said himself, the team's only been together for, like, maybe a couple weeks at best before the circuit even started. and they've got a coach, and now they're 3-1, and they're looking to be one of the best teams in the circuit against a lot of the established orgs that we were expecting to be in that spot and not MCOM, right? So we'll have to wait and see, I guess, how they develop going forward, if they can reset, if they can bounce back going into the season here and see where we go. But of course, that brings on to our next game that we wanted to cover as well from week number 4. Of course, that being ZYZZ against Error, and another big upset here coming through. Error getting another big victory here, taking them to 2-2. And ZYZZ again, I guess, forcing us to question them, where week 1, big loss to MCOM that we're just talking about, and now a big loss to Error.
Yeah, huge plays on the Yone. I've never agreed with a Yone being picked in tournament play, but Selfish pulled it off. Like he ended up with 9 kills. He had he had a few assists as well. He was on 7 as well. So he was around the map. He was roaming with Terath. He was making sure that his presence was known, and he was picking up some gold around the map as well. Congrats to them. Era, they've taken down Team ZYZZ. Just once, but you know, maybe they might come up against them.
It's that once, right? It's that once where they got the win.
That's all you need, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like I actually have Error as my dark horse, like 100%. Said it on Twitter as well earlier today. Like this team, even like I think Suho is pound for pound, like he is the best support in the league. That like from everything I've seen, like obviously there's some contention there, but like if you want a guy who's willing to clutch the fuck up, Suho's your boy. And Keister, like yet to really see like. I'm yet to see Selfish level from this player, but like this player who's also like kind of, you know, doing his job. He's pulling his weight. Selfish though, like I have question marks about like his champion pool, his play style, and I think like better teams will possibly try and exploit him. But like, yeah, on the Yone, he mid-gapped rookie QQ, and like that is not easy. Like that guy is when he's not having happy games on Silas, rookie QQ has been like one of our most consistent control mage players. Got the rise. Like, that should be a matchup where you just kind of control the Yone and don't let him do anything. And Rookie QQ looked foolish. And the Silas also jumped out at me as a bit of a weird pick. It got beaten up by the Nala. But
we've
like,
had issues with Silas over the past 2 weeks now, haven't we? Not really showing up.
Yeah.
So
yeah, like I actually like the Silas here in terms of like a composition that can kind of brawl with like maybe side laning, whatever. But like, I see the upsides there. But yeah, like, it all came from that mid lane. Like the Yone Selfish was massive, and I'm here for it, man. Like I want to see this guy succeed on mid.
Yeah, I like personally like the Silas pick in this scenario because I'm pretty sure it came in one of the last picks for blue, and part of it's because when you look at the champions that are actually being put together by Era, it's purely because they don't really have champions that like to build health cut in the scenario or those grievous wounds. So if you look at what happens there, it's like, oh, okay, well, this Silas can actually really pop off. You know, I mean, yeah, you're sort of relying on Selfish. Like, Selfish is one person who would like to get the Executioner's Calling or the equivalent of it these days, I guess you could say. But the thing that's really like that sort of shoots out to me.
Calling?
Yeah, exactly. With Executioner, you know, I don't know what it's gonna be calling this time these days. I'm trying to like, you know, it was Executioner's calls for the past 4 years. So like right now in my head, like that's just like what pops up, and I'm like, I can't get out. The boomer brain's like booming right now.
I feel you, man.
So
I mean, the audio platform services and the new items, man, it's hard.
Exactly.
But,
I do remember this very clear point where rookie QQ at the very start was actually styling on Selfish. Like Selfish was just about right on the point of that solo kill. Like rookie QQ was about to solo kill Selfish, and he just goes that little bit too far on the overextension to try and enter. His execution's just not there. Selfish survives. Out of the blue, Terath comes in, and that basically secures a kill for Selfish. And from there, Selfish is like, sweet, you know, I'm going to take this advantage, and I'm just going to vice script rookie QQ from that point. And he just did. And like you said, from then on, he was styling. I honestly feel like with Ziz, these guys are supposed to be the prime reactive team. That's like what they've sort of made their name to be. We're going to pick these high, heavy scalers. We're going to sit in lane. We're going to get we're going to get to that late game with you just trying to like shoot those pot shots and make something happen. I think
Ricky going to just 30 minutes and not going to do anything in the game at all.
Exactly, right? And you know, and like, and just I feel like this game they were trying to be too proactive. Like it felt outside of their style. And don't get me wrong, I love the idea of proactivity, personally. But against a team like Arrow, who finally just found their form, who finally just did this, I feel like it was a bit of an overreach coming out of Ziz. And Arrow took that opportunity, used their form, and just from like, sweet, cool, like Selfish is ahead, Hype is doing his job, Terrence has just been running around, Kai'Sa using what I honestly feel to be a new build coming into this tournament right now as well.
I hate,
I mean, weapon. You said you hated it, but at the same time, like he's cosplaying Ezreal at the moment.
Worked it. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
And it worked, right? Like he did the damage, he did what he needed to do. It was like effective for the team fight. And when you look at it, it's kind of like we need to get onto this Sivir when you've got a Taunt in Suho. You've got Selfish, who you just don't want to deal with. You've got Terrence, who's like slowing people, doing stuff, running away, doing usual stuff. And Nah, who's just like, yeah, I'm big, I'm small, who cares? I'm annoying. Having that slow in the middle of all of that is literally a cocktail for destruction, and Arrow made it work.
And just to highlight on the point where they were being a bit too proactive, too proactive. Like, this is a team, the composition they've drafted is not a team that'll work from behind, because you've got a Thresh who's really good for picks, but if you don't have the damage to back it up, and if the opposing team is just too strong to be able to, is too strong, and they're going to be able to collapse on the Thresh is going to be dead. The rest of his team isn't strong enough to back him up. They don't have the damage output. Xayah on like 1.5 items.
Yeah, not going to do it.
Hecarim's the same, right? Like he goes in. If he's not like overfed, he dies.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Like send that horse straight to the glue factory. Like he needs to immediately finish off. Like he needs to finish his chem tech. That's a big thing as well. Like Hecarim typically used to have a lot of damage in previous seasons, but the current build for him now is let's get Chemtech, and it makes sense. Like, it synergizes with him, makes him tanky, gives him the ability to dive. He's got great base damage as it is, but
it's cash money too, right? Like it's hell expensive.
Exactly. It's cash money. It's expensive, and the big thing it doesn't give is that upfront damage that everyone's used to having on Hecarim. Like Hecarim's used to like rushing that Triforce, popping that Ghost, and then whoever he decides to E at like 10 minutes in, they're either dead or running. There's only the really two options, right? Like that in the scenario. Not the case with the current state of Hecarim. Hecarim doesn't have that upfront damage like he used to have it, unless he's like 20 kills ahead, you know, or he's that far ahead that he's 3 levels up and it's like base damage, baby, and just straight into him, right?
Gallop him down.
So yeah, you know what I mean? Like he's just not the same horse that he was in previous seasons.
Sorry, Teacko Lee, I will give you a chance. So did you have I think we cut you off a little bit.
Did I have any more points? No, that was the entire basis of my point. The most of their composition, if not all of it, I think bar the Silas, struggle playing from behind.
And like, okay, I want to bring up a point I just thought of, because I was just thinking back as well, because I know Formal talked about in the first week when ZYZZ lost, he was like, oh, they just threw. That was the giveaway. Not that MCOM did well, just ZYZZ threw. That's his go-to defensive point for defending ZYZZ, right? Looking at this game, I'm not seeing exactly that, but I'm seeing a bit of disrespect, I want to say. I don't know if they maybe gave the full respect to Era, because like maybe they came in, it's like, okay, Era beat Exile, but they beat Exile, right? Like to ZYZ, they probably don't really care too much about Exile, because that is a new war for new players, right? ZYZ, they don't care about them, right? They've got the attitude anyway.
What do they care about?
They don't really care about much, right? But they come in, right? They take Suho's Thresh, right? I just want to point that out front and foremost, right? So they take the Thresh, they've got that straight away. They clearly didn't respect him in lane too much anyway. Could it be that? Like that like, I don't want to say full on disrespect, but maybe just they didn't respect Era enough going into this game wise. Because I mean, they took the Thresh, they banned out Blitz against Suho, and I guess it was kind of good for Suho to showcase that. Look, I can play non-hook champs. I'm playing Galio. You know what I mean? Like it's still good team fighting. It's not exactly hook, because that's what we're used to seeing him, right? Just hook champs continuously all the time, and it's like, can we see Suho play someone else or Morgana? Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Then go, I hate Morgana anyway, but.
I love Morgana, just quietly. I know a lot of people said Morgana's a horrible choice, but I think she was a
like Morgana as well. But do you think it could be something on that end as well, like going in? Because I mean, seeing some of the champs is kind of like, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think it was actually a tactical decision taking that Thresh, because Lost in Vinland, he played Thresh week 2. And they won that.
I should emphasize not just the Thresh pick being the disrespect. I just mean in general. I don't think they're going in. They weren't going in like the verse on Weekend Roads or QUT is basically what I'm saying. Like I don't think they were going in like what they wanted to be 100% basically maybe on purpose.
So I'll actually challenge one assertion that we kind of make is that teams are a team who wait for late game. Because they do that, like for sure, they make most of their proactive stuff happen in the mid game, like they start to group up. But the key thing to notice about Ziz is they always get to that point with a massive lead, and that's either because they just gap their opponents in lane, like Blue just goes completely ham, or Iano and Lost in Midland, Rookie QQ just kind of drown their opponents out. But what they also do really well that a lot of our like lower half of the standings teams don't do is like they do stuff with tempo. They draft tempo lanes. And they get out on the map and actually make stuff happen. And like we saw that in the game with where Less I Know Better got like the fucking ridiculous Mundo pentakill. Is like all they had in their side lanes was winning lanes and tempo. Like they constantly were just able to push their lanes and do stuff and buy space for Less I Know Better to make stuff happen on the map. This draft doesn't have any of that. You've got a Sivir who is the priority getting bot lane. Like there is absolutely no other champion in this game in the bot lane besides like maybe Tristana, who can just fucking shove a lane into your face. Then you got Galio to cover her, like Mendrix and Teacko said, like really good pick. And like the Gnar as well, like that buys priority against the Sylas every fucking day of the week. And like Lilia is there to just be a nuisance to just play around the Yone and allow Selfish to play like a maniac. Like this top to bottom draft is like, I feel like Era sat down. I'm like, how do we just stop Ziz from being able to play? Like, basically, just make Ziz play the least amount of League of Legends possible for the first like 15 minutes of the game. Make them so uncomfortable, and like that's how you shut down Ziz. We've seen it work time and time again. Camp Blue, shut down the lane, stop the roams. It works. It's free.
Any thoughts, Mendrix? So that's all good.
No, I agree with it. I mean, if you look at it that in this case, like when it comes down to it, to shut down one of the solo lanes, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at it, you kind of go like, well, who do we shut down here? Do we shut down Blue or do we shut down Rookie QQ? And if I had to look between the two, who's the easier one to shut down? It would definitely be Rookie QQ, which is why we probably saw Terrence also making so many roams. And the beautiful part about it is like with Less Than I Better, he's obviously got the Hecker and Fast Clear, has ability to camp or make moves. Lilia's can keep up with the horse, right? They're two horses in their own right. So they've got four legs just pumping through.
Pick a pony.
Clear. Where are you gonna go? You're gonna go here? Well, I'm gonna go here. Oh, you're gonna go there? I'm gonna go there too. You know, I'm just like, you can't really gank anywhere. If you choose to go back to like that, I'll skip a camp and then I'll hit Quirk and QQ. That's literally what happened, right? Like every single time Terran had an opportunity to make a move on Quirk and QQ, she or he did, right? You know, I'm just the player or the champion. Right? But in this scenario here, you don't need to worry about Hyper because Hyper is pretty good at managing his own lane. Add to the fact that Gnar is pretty damn good also getting away from most situations. So
and he's the one trick Gnar on top of that as well, right?
Exactly, so, right. And he's the one trick Gnar as well. So he's going to be absolutely comfortable as well. And like they said, you look at the composition they got for the bot lane, the Sivir and the Galio. That's very hard to get into. Like they're not the most mobile two champions, but when you add a spell shield, a taunt, and the fact that he was also going for a slow build at the end of this as well. And like you said, just like shove. Like I don't need to sit in lane. I just need to shove the lane, right? That's all I need to do and let Selfish get ahead. They did exactly that. They basically said, you can't really get that same idea that you're going to have a 1-3-1 because you won't have that match side lane. The rest of our players are going to be able to either a carry or basically, like when I look at this, Selfish is the carry, right? That's like the guy that's going to just screw over the rest of everyone else. Hyper just needs to roleplay. Kai'Sa just needs to roleplay. Suhu just needs to roleplay. Terrence just needs to roleplay. They don't need to do anything special at this point. One of their players just needs to do it with this composition they put together. Whereas on the flip side, for Ziz to perform, Rookie QQ and Blue both need to do well. It's a 1-3-1 comp they put together. So you see where like Weapon was saying, hey, this shuts down what Ziz wants to do because we just need to focus on one. The rest just need to basically go even and we win. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. And like,
you go, Weapon.
Sorry. And like it all comes down to the Xayah pick. Like if that was a Tristana, this game looks very different because that's a champion that can match the prio in bot lane and unlock Lost in Finland. You don't get to do that. You don't get ahead as teams is. You don't get to do anything.
And that's what I'm keen to see, I guess, where the season goes forward with both these teams. As ZYZZ, just to say it was one of their games like in week one, like we go off what Form was saying, and as they had nothing to do with Era, right? Which we can clearly see isn't the case. Just to say that was the reason. Maybe they stop throwing games now. Let's see them actually get some wins so they can secure their spot into the finals, of course.
Yeah, it's crucial.
But yeah, but like, could it also just be the beginnings of, like you guys mentioned, here's a team coming in. Again, all these guys have versed the guys from ZYZZ before, especially throughout last year, throughout both splits, and now they're going, and Era's going, here's the perfect way to beat ZYZZ, and the rest of the teams learn from that, right, and copy that, and maybe take that going forward. Could it be something for ZYZZ to have to be worried about potentially now as well, where they're kind of just got this big spotlight shining on them, right? All right, there's ZYZZ, they're the team that wins at 30 plus minutes. Well, here's how to beat them beforehand, or here's how to take the same thing, kick their ass doing it, and win that way as well. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. And I'm also especially keen on how Era will take that. Again, now being on that 2-win streak, now being back into things and seeing if they can keep that momentum rolling in for the rest of the season. And speaking of, we've got a graphic now for the week 5 games coming through as well. As there's some games here with some there's some big consequences that could happen. Some that maybe not so much, but could definitely still affect things going forward throughout the season. So, the audio listeners will just have to believe me when I say these are the matches coming forward. If you don't, you can check it later if you don't believe me. That's fine. Game 1 will be Dissonance taking on the Weekend Warriors. Game 2 will be Era taking on the Weeknight Warriors. Game 3 will be ZYZZ taking on Kraken. Again, that's like I want to say a highlight game. That's definitely one to watch out for. Game number 4 will be Exile taking on the QUT Tigers. And week 5 will be wrapped up with game number 5 with Desire taking on MCOM. Of course, all those games will kick off from 6:10 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time. But of course, make sure you tune in an hour or so beforehand, because then you get to catch some of this repeat of episode 4 of League Down Under. And of course, you get to catch the awesome pre-show that I'll be on and hosting with maybe these guys or maybe some other guys. We'll have to wait and see, but keen for that as well. And we can break down some more things going into week 5 if you want to see some more of that action. And of course, the next episode of Top Clear, that form will have ready to go as well. So, by the way, I think that's like one of the best names we might have.
So good. It's so good.
But any thoughts, guys? Because these games, I know we were talking about before we were doing this episode that this week, the games might not be too standoutish, but I think that game 3 one takes the cake for the biggest game to watch out for. Yep.
Nice.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a bit of a nothing burger of a week is really all we can say. Like, I think the Exile versus QT Tigers, maybe that has a chance to be a good game, but it feels like we've been wrong before. There have been crazy upsets, but it feels like if everything goes according to plan, then it's going to be a bit of a just kind of the top teams showing why they're the top teams and the bottom teams trying to look the best they can in a loss. But I'm happy to be proven wrong. If Dissonance can bust it out, man, that'd be sick.
That's a big upset. A lot of people would. I don't know if they'd but there'd definitely be there'd be some comments. There'd be some Twitch chats. Yeah, there'd be.
Let's flip the script. Sorry to cut you off, Baz.
No, that's fine.
You guys, what do you think is the biggest potential for an upset here out of all these games?
Good question.
Desire MCOM, I think.
Really? Ooh, yeah. I
think Weekend are too strong at the moment. Era, again, they have that momentum, and Weeknight, we know, yes, they did get a win, but we still know they have, they're good in the early game, they're good in the mid game, but they can't close out. I think Era will be fine dealing with that. ZYZZ Kraken, they both, to me at least, have big question marks around at the moment, so I don't really feel there's an upset either way, really. And I still think QUT will beat Exile. I think QUT, as a team, are insane right now. They're probably one of the strongest teams we've seen in the circuit. With their full roster, coaching staff, their high-performance gaming esports facility, and all that stuff.
Yeah, they're clean, right?
They're set right now. So it's really just a matter of Desire and MCOM. I think there's a lot of guys in Desire, which are actually another team from a particular institute of educational purposes that are taking on MCOM that we know have been doing really well so far as well. They've had some off games, they've had some great games throughout the season, and even towards the end of last year, they're starting to pick up the pace with the new roster built around Akano. But I guess also the question is to MCOM, can they continue their run? Could Desire maybe throw them off? I feel as if that's the only one that really actually stands out like that, because the rest I feel, I mean, I say they're set in stone, but you know, we cast the curse all the time anyway. Like,
100%.
Realistically speaking, Desire probably is, you know, like I agree with Baz, like Desire is probably the most realistic upset to come out of it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, fuck, I'd love it if FXL beat QUT and Dissonance beat Weekend Warriors. Like purely because like
Max would be
and boys, bring the wrath down on me if you want to, right?
Yeah,
That QUT and Weekend Warriors honestly feel the clearest big shit talkers out there in this league, and for them to just be taken down a peg is just like, you know what I mean?
You'd also be kicking Midnight and Formal up the arse as well, because that's their two favorite teams. I won't show
which I'm glad to do.
I feel like Weekend Warriors are probably like, if they lose, they would meme harder. Like, they would meme harder than they do if they win, like 100%. They're like the G2 of like our.
They'll just leave. They won't play any further games.
We'd like to announce our retirement from League.
4-0 team versus the 0-4 team, and they lose to the 0-4 team being at the top. Man, that sucks. That would suck so much.
And while it's all happening, just need a background. Give it to me.
I'll quickly weigh in on my question. I actually think the biggest potential here, if like, I think it's Weeknight Warriors. Like, I think that they feel like a team who's on the cusp of like putting it together. I want to see it happen. It's like so bad. Love all the players on this team. I think there's so much potential there.
That's what I believe as well. It's just they've had 4 weeks. Even the game they won, it was still very, very messy, and that's where I'm like. Because Era, you know, they've got the comeback now. They've got the comeback. I mean, if that would be the biggest upset for sure, but is it possible? And that's where I'm like, I don't know. It's very tough, right? Oh. I mean, to be fair, they could get an asking all of a sudden. Can could come in, whip them all, get them all going properly.
Open up that can of kung fu.
That's right. Get things sorted right, and they get themselves going. But I don't know. I think it's definitely one of those 2 games, because I think the others, they're I don't want to say they're even, but like Desire Weekend is so far out there. Like, I don't even want to talk about it. Like, because I know for a fact if we talk about it, if we get into it, we'll cast a curse somehow, and then Dissonance will win, and then we'll never hear the end of it.
Both teams will disconnect.
So like, they'll be like, "What's happening? It's a server issue. We both don't know what's going on. Like, why do we win? Why do we lose?"
Australia sinks into the ocean.
And meanwhile, in the background, me like, yes.
Feed me.
Give me all the upset tears. You know, feed it to the old gods. Feed them to the old gods.
No, for God's sake, you and the old gods, man. I'll tell you.
I love the old gods, man. That's when shit went down. All right.
Why do you think he's so good at casting? He made a dark deal.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna come through next week. He's gonna have the Book of Cthulhu with him, ready to go. The hood up, like, hey boys, have you done your daily offering to the old gods?
Cool. Can we do like One Division spoilers here? Is like a
don't do it.
I haven't seen it myself. I haven't seen it myself. So I haven't seen it. All right. I've been waiting for them to come out so I can watch them all at once.
All right.
It's done. You should watch it.
I need to ask this question, right? Who's seen the end of One Division, right?
Yep.
No, man.
Yep. All right. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know, when you brought up the idea of like the Book of Cthulhu and me being like, well, what if we there's One Division right now? Like, what we could have happening?
No.
Yeah, you can see it.
I got
now,
that.
just imagine that ending, but just me there instead. That's the scenario.
I don't know. I'm not a nerd, so I don't understand any of this shit.
I don't know. You were the one that brought up Book of Cthulhu.
No, I don't think I said that at all. I don't know where that's.
And the best part about this, Baz, now is when you watch the ending of One Division, you won't see it. You just see me there.
Sacrifice to the old gods. Something like that.
Baz isn't a nerd. He just plays Shadowverse, all right?
That's right. I'm just a weeb with my more weeb stuff that I'm wearing all the time, because apparently that's a contract I've taken with Quirky now. Apparently that's just a thing I just have to do. I don't know why, but I've gone from $1 Million Fortnite, man. Don't even know how that started, to weeb. So there you go. And according to that cast video that Teacko made as well last year, which, by the way, I don't know. I don't think I did. I think you might have dubbed over that. I don't know. I think that's
okay.
Is there evidence? Can you show us the audio file?
I've got the entire file. I've got proof.
Do you have a number 1 victory royale, by the way, Baz?
What was that?
Do you have a number 1 victory royale? Did you just wipe out Tomato Town?
The amount of times I've heard that song in the past week, man,
But
I had that blasting when I was playing Apex like a couple days ago, and I still couldn't get the win. I don't know what's going on. Maybe because it's the wrong game. I don't know. It's
Doesn't
very,
work.
very
Doesn't
strange.
Get good, bro.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, I'll get right on that. It sounds like we've got another segment for you guys. By the way, if you haven't noticed, we're commentators. Not just meme lords, or whatever we call ourselves sometimes. Sometimes we like to commentate video games. And we thought it might be a good idea if we give tell you guys how we got into commentating. If you're interested, and then behind the scenes of how we do our thing, and if you wanted to be involved in said thing, because it is an amazing part of esports that a lot of people obviously think about being a player first, but there's so many other awesome aspects of esports to get into. Of course, there's commentating, there's hosting, like more what I do, there's behind the scenes stuff that Teacko does, not by choice, but he does it anyway. That's fine. But we
pain in his eyes.
Yeah, just absolute pain right now. He's blinking because he just loves it so much. It's not a cry for help at all. So we thought I'd give
anyone know Morse code?
Yeah. So we thought I'd give our backstories into how we got into commentating, and I'm just chucking this out there right now. You got one of you can just start talking and just go for it. I'm not even going to organize it. You guys can figure it out. Rock paper scissors battle. You can flip a coin. Whatever works.
Should I just start because I'm the oldest? Is that?
I feel like Mendrix. I feel like you should go last
Mendrix.
because you have the most interesting story.
Yeah, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Like I'm actually really interested. Like Teacko, I actually don't know how you got your start. So hit me with it.
Okay, Mendrix. No, I actually...
maybe you should go first, Mendrix.
Well, I mean, yeah, his story starts a little bit earlier than mine. I want to say 10 years because
a little bit.
Wow, fuck.
He's already losing hair.
I mean, look at this, fucking clear right now. Especially because I've got this light shining on. I'm like, Jesus, maybe I should just shave the whole thing off. I'm sorry, Teacko, I'm seeing you. I'm like, go.
Okay. So it was year 12 procrastination. And I'd been throughout the entire year, I'd been gaming. I'd been doing stuff on my computer. I'd been hiding my computer in my room. I was like, you're not allowed your computer in your room anymore. So I'm like, what can I do in front of my mom that shows that I'm doing something with this gaming? And so casting was the first thing that came to mind, because I remember, I think it was Riot released Shoutcasting 101 on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah.
That got an idea into my brain. I'm like,
real quick, Teacko, sorry to cut you off. I just want to make sure we have an edit section so we can maybe show a bit of footage of that in the background, because that is I think one of the best videos I've ever seen as an introduction into commentating. Right? It's absolutely insane. So here's your section, and now continue.
Yeah, so Shoutcasting 101 was, I think, the first thing that put the idea into my head. I also had a friend in high school who I met through cadets, who did CSGO casting with, I don't remember the organization. They're dead now. Doesn't matter. But through him, I found Yuna, which is someone in Sydney who's done a lot of broadcasting. And she suggested I tune in to Mendrix stream. Mendrix was doing lessons on shoutcasting, and it took a couple weeks, maybe a month, for me to actually get a spot in Mendrix stream. But that was the first time that I got an actual introduction as to how to cast properly. And then from then on, it sort of snowballed into going to, very quickly, snowballed into getting some commentary gigs, flying over to Sydney with Midnight to get a live thing with him. And yeah, it just, yeah, it was, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Any more in-depth stuff? Why'd you fly to Sydney for? Was that cool thing?
Yeah, okay. So, it was with, okay, so Yuna, which is the woman that I mentioned earlier, she got me onto Mendrix stream. She is the main contact for the broadcasting, all over, I want to say Sydney, because she's got the contacts. She's got the broadcasting gig for Meta. So that's where Meta get most of their casters from, outside of Queensland, and
outside of formal land.
Outside of formal land, yeah. So yeah, when before she started her org that's partnered with Meta, she just had a freelance thing. People would come to her and ask if she had any casters. So I made sure that I got in good with her. I made sure that I became an admin for her broadcasting org when it started up, and so when she asked for people to fly over to Sydney to get a live gig going, I'm like, I'm down. Let's go. It was with an org called Hive Gaming. If anyone knows about that.
No.
Never heard of
Mendrix.
I know Hive.
Mendrix knows
Oh,
Hive.
yes, he knows Hive.
Yes,
Yes.
Mendrix knows Hive.
I know all the organizations.
What year is that?
Lantern,
1963, man. What year was that from?
Look, mate, if you want to go back into if you want to go back to the 1600s, I'm all about it.
The start of esports gaming.
Yeah. Mendrix actually invented StarCraft esports in Korea. I didn't think I knew that. But...
Yeah, I was just sitting in the background like, yes, you hit. Like,
fucking
like,
idiot in the back, man. What's he?
Do not look behind the curtain. Do not look behind the curtain.
The Wizard of Oz of gaming.
That's also a reference that probably like half the room is like, what is he talking about? My God.
Yeah. Sometimes
it's the wine talking. It's all the goon. There's Yellow Brick Road. Teacko, you were saying so before we just railroaded your fabulous story there, man.
Yeah, so there was a live gig with Hive. We went to like a gaming lounge or a gaming computer area, big,
like a computer cafe, or
that's
like
the one, yeah.
like a PC bang, or like
which one was it?
Was like Fortress and stuff now. What's that the other big one, the esports bar? I can see it in my brain.
Like GG.
Yeah,
it
wasn't GG.
Melbourne.
It was more like it was just like a building full
bang.
of computers.
Yeah,
that
PC
people
bang.
play games
PC
on.
yeah.
So they were hosting a tournament. Was one of the contacts. Hive was the main organizers, and so that's where I got I think that's the point where I found really good friends. So I traveled with Midnight, and I think that was the point where we started to become really, really good friends. And I think...
Don't you smirk at that weapon. All right, enough of that. Enough of that.
That's rad. That's just like really wholesome and nice.
Yeah,
this is not a wholesome podcast. All right, we don't do that here.
Well, I mean, like...
Fuck you and making it wholesome.
I'm gonna make it wholesome. I've made some really, really good friends through. Actually, I'm gonna say like my best friend group are either casters or people I've met through other casters. So, yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, all the people I've met, like sort of like through you, like even the people outside of Samsung, they're all just delightful. Like Pro's sick.
Yeah.
Like,
Prot ex caster. If anyone knows the name, shout it out in chat. Shout it out in the comments. Prot, the legacy shall live
that's
on.
another
So
old
friendly.
man, I think. Like not as old as Mendrix, but like I mean he's like semi-old, I think.
Yeah.
So I had to. The opportunity was there. I had to. I'm sorry.
He's getting the barbs out
like,
today.
It's sort of like so when's Mendrix? Before time began.
Yeah. Hey, we did say you invented esports in Korea, right? So obviously,
yeah.
I'll take it.
What's that Korean term for like a virtuoso StarCraft player?
Bonjour.
Bonjour, yeah, the original bonjour, the bourgeois.
Of course, Mendrix knows what it is.
Quirky is so fucking good at StarCraft casting. Like every time that his I'm gonna give him the plug, twitch.tv, Cranky Ducklings. Every time I tune into that shit, if Quirky's not casting, I'm like,
yeah, don't even watch.
Who's light? I don't give a fuck.
You know what? I reckon
actually all
my
good.
hand up. I reckon I could do StarCraft 2. Get
Yeah?
ready, son.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
I could do it too.
I'd love to see it.
Real talk,
Put
to
me on.
jump the gun a
Put me
little
on,
bit.
baby.
StarCraft 2 is not dead. There's like the esports of StarCraft.
Yeah, it's so sick.
One of the
It's
best.
still big, yes. It's
Not
big.
just the cast or play, but I think as a watching is one of the best esports.
Hell yeah.
Because you can know nothing about the game and it's still hype as fuck. That and fighting games, I think are like the two best. Like where you can watch it and you can know nothing and you can still get behind, and Rocket League. And like,
Rocket League,
get behind it, you know. I wasn't going to mention like sports and cars because that is fairly obvious, but like in terms of like more gamey stuff, StarCraft is definitely probably like the go-to, like easiest thing to learn. I know elite casters probably should say that, but
No.
a lot of guys and stuff came from StarCraft, right?
Yeah.
So,
League is bullshit because like you have to explain it.
Yeah.
Like
you didn't even have to explain it. There's just something good about watching humans, giant bugs, and aliens kill each other. That's like literally what it is. That it's like in its core form. It's just like it's just like you just see like
the big boys.
Five tanks just blow up like 5 not mutal, like 5 like ultralisks, like out of you see like 5 ultralisks running and like a tank shots just and they blow their bits fly everywhere. You're like, oh yeah.
I feel like
I also love Starship Troopers. It's my favorite movie.
Yeah, it's a good movie. I feel like right now, Quirky is like sitting up, like his ears are pricking up. Like, The casters are referring to StarCraft.
StarCraft? What do you mean?
It's like the horn of like summon the Quirky. Yeah. No, StarCraft is sick. Like, and like, it's easy to follow because it's like big masses of dudes fighting each other, but also like when the casters get excited, you're like, oh yeah, sick, yeah, hell yeah, something's happening. I don't understand it, but it's great.
Tasteless and Artocious, man. I'll tell you.
Oh,
that duo, one of the best. Like, if you want to learn casting, definitely one of the best duos to go check out because they're not only informative, they are hilarious. So funny.
Have you watched any of Tasteless's actual stream?
I haven't. I need to though.
His sub alerts are just Artosis raging at Protoss players. It's so fucking funny.
That's excellent. Man, you know what I feel sad about though for every player out there, like if they're just getting into StarCraft now, they will never know the beautiful vision of an Archon toilet. Now that is some amazing StarCraft play.
Explain Archon toilet, please. I missed the boat on this.
Okay, even you don't know what it is, right?
I don't know what Archon toilet is.
So back when, like, we're talking 2010, StarCraft 2 just came out, right?
1362, yeah, got it.
Yeah, it's 1362, right?
We're going back to deep lore.
We're talking about, like, do not reference the deep magic to me. I was there when it was written, right?
All the peasants like, what are these strange men doing on these weird lightning boxes?
Exactly, right. So, like, what it is, right? So it's a mothership. Mothership appears. The mothership used to have an ability which was basically a black hole. And what would happen is you would drop the black hole, and all the units in that vicinity of the black hole would get sucked into it.
Okay.
So imagine like a giant Oriana ultimate. Everyone gets sucked in, right? So what would happen is they'd drop it. They'd drop it in. Everyone would get sucked in. And then what you'd do is you'd have like 8 Archons, and you just like drop them in as well, right? The 8 Archons, like you see them just like slowly waddle their way into it. So what would happen is exactly, and when they all spawned out and it all popped out, everyone would be in range of the Archon splash damage. So what happened is that immediately they'd pop, all the Archons would start auto attacking, and you just see the entire like enemy army just obliterate in it.
Did it work on AoE damage? Did it work on like mechanical units, like tanks and shit?
Everything.
Okay, so Archons would just ruin everything.
That's why they called it. It was basically the StarCraft version of a high school swirly. Like, it was just like in the toilet.
I'm taking you back to your high school days.
Like, functionally too, because if you pull it off, like, your opponent's a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly. It was great.
That's so good.
It was when you guys get a chance, just Google Archon toilet and you'll love it. It's great.
That's required viewing for tonight for sure.
And after that, Teacko did you want to continue your cast of background?
That was a big tangent.
He's looking real nervous.
That was a huge tangent. No, I think I covered most, if not all. Like, I've done like some big live stage stuff. Like, I've done PAX, I've done MEO. I've done a lot of stuff with meta, so hopefully that continues. But I think that's most, if not all, of my story.
He looks good in a suit. I'll vouch for that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That too.
You got like the plaid suit that you normally wear for gigs, don't you? Or am I like completely off track? I feel like you've got like a blue like plaid suit that I swear I've seen you in.
No, you're dreaming.
You're completely off. Okay. All right, that's fine. I know you sometimes cast from the grounds of your mansion. You've done that before.
Oh,
what?
Yeah, remember the green screen when?
Yeah.
So good.
Using green screens,
For anyone playing at home, basically, Teacko, for one of our finals, he kept changing his background to like various like
rooms in his mansion.
Yeah, like, super like opulent like rooms and stuff. Like he was like living on a mansion. It's fucking rad.
I'm pretty sure that was Split 1 finals last year.
I think it was. Yeah, it was so funny.
Jeez,
it's just
he's got to do that again.
Sorry, man.
You got to do it again, Teacko. You got to do it again now.
Okay, I'll need to find something different.
Maybe like a jungle.
backyard in my mansion here.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah.
who wants to go next then? Seeing as we just took Teacko's time and ruined it.
Yeah, we just
who
fucking
wants-
just pissed all over it.
I don't even play
Weapon-
StarCraft, but that was part of my
weapon, you're
time.
Yeah. No, man, like fucking tangent all over my shit. My story's pretty short. Like basically I the Indomitable RF land over here is an event that's like been running over for like it's like up to its like 67th event or something. They had to pause it because COVID. But basically it's like they call themselves Australia's biggest LAN party. They might be. I know like there was like Walls LAN for a bit. But basically like it's a big ass LAN party. They have like tournaments for everything, and it's always a fucking scheduling nightmare. It's hilarious. Like something always goes wrong. And at RFLAN 60, they had the incredible idea to try and live stream the event. And like they needed to recruit casters and shit. And I was at the time like I'd done radio before. I was part of an online radio show thing. And I was like, hell yeah, I love League. I'll jump in on that. And ended up like doing my first cast with them. It was fucking crazy. Like literally like so Styled played in those tournaments. Which is why I'm like so like big on Styled. Like he's my boy. And a bunch of like other players. Like so I don't know if you guys remember BMA. He was a former OCS OPL player. Yeah, he's from Perth as well. Pretty much always won.
He did. Yep.
Did Beamer play in some of the university stuff?
Yep.
He played.
Ironically enough, if you know his story, he's in Shadowverse now.
Yes.
Been in Shadowverse for a few years now as one of our top guys, if not our top guy from Oceania. So there's Weaponized crossover for 2 different games I didn't even know about.
Hell yeah.
Didn't even know he's a WA guy, so that's cool to know.
How's BMA? It's like he's like the top guy in Shadowverse.
He's the top guy in Australia.
Okay.
In Shadowverse, like he's definitely one of the top guys in I want to say the SEAO region, which is like Southeast Asia and Oceania.
Yeah.
He's not the top guy, unfortunately, which hurts me to say that, but he's definitely one of the top, and he's definitely one of the most like recognizable faces as well. Like I guess he's some of the comments are a bit memey at times.
Yeah. Is he like
so?
Is he a scumbag in Shadowverse? Because in League he plays like fucking Sona mid.
Yeah. I don't want to call him a scumbag, but like he's I think he's like if we had a scale. You know, and we had scumbags and not scumbags. He'd be on the scumbag side somewhere.
Like slightly there, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's pretty much it for me. Like I've done stuff for meta and stuff in terms of, like, you know, other gigs outside of like Sumsuck and RFLAN, but like pretty much just been sticking my guns in Sumsuck because I love Sumsuck, man. Like I occasionally branch out to other orgs and do like occasional gigs. Like I do meta because they pay me. Like hell yeah. But like. Yeah, and also Yuna is delightful to deal with. She's just the best. But yeah, like Sumsuck is sick. They, pun intended, they they demand like one, like basically like, you know, they demand like one cast of me like a week or whatever, and like I show up and I feel like I'm part of the best org that does this stuff. So it's like hell yeah, like this is where I want to be to like get better and like get noticed and stuff. So like yeah, that's pretty much me. Like, yeah, just grinding away, man.
As are we all, right? At the end of the day,
pretty much. Trying to get better.
So do we go to Mendrix's story and how he created esports?
Yep.
Now, or
at the beginning of time.
Are we doing this?
Wait, let me get some hot
Here's
chocolate
what-
and popcorn.
Let me know when you boys are ready now.
I mean, I guess I'll tell my story afterwards if you guys care about hearing that as well.
Oh,
of course, yeah, definitely, man. Definitely,
yeah,
man.
please.
Definitely, mate. All right, we ready, boys? Ready for this? All right, let me take you through a story that went through time and space. Yes, a number of things.
Land of the Mighty Boosh.
A land of the mighty Boosh. All right, no, it's not land of the mighty Boosh, but it is the land of the mighty Mendrix. And yeah, for me, it started off back in around 2014, actually, to be honest. So I was playing League of Legends a fair bit. I had a group of ragtag players that I really loved to play with, and we were having a bit of fun just playing in tournaments, just doing little things here and there. And from that, we turned out, you know, we jumped into a tournament to play. I can't remember what it was. I think it was one of those dead orgs that Teacko was referencing in his story. And they provided casters for one of our games. I was like, oh, sick. I can't believe we're getting casted. How cool is that?
Yeah.
So, you know, we went through, we did that. We played the game. I can't remember when I lost. We probably lost. And then I reached out to them and said, hey, man, I'd love to be a part of commentating. I'll do this. I was literally like a gold player at this point. I think actually it was probably like 2013. And I was literally like a gold League of Legends player at this point. And then I was like, yeah, I had a chat with him. And because, I started commentating and then also playing League, and then I was at uni, I really just went like full circle in what I was doing. I went from gold to diamond to challenger, while doing the commentating on the side with this group called Casters. I think it was GameStar. GameStar was the name of it. GameStar
yes,
Casters.
I've heard of GameStar. GameStar, they're dead now, I think, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but they were really good. Yep.
Yeah, like back in the day, that was like the quintessential casting group that you would be with, and that's who I joined. From there, I saw like someone posted a league link to me around 2015, I think it was, or 2014, saying, "Hey, ACL Pro." Who back then was the media, who is now ESL Australia. The original branding back then was ACL Pro, was looking for casters for Open League of Legends. And I said, hell yeah, I'm down to join. So put in my thing, because I've been doing stuff with GameStar. I was able to be like, here's my, stuff from GameStar, that sort of stuff. And I actually got interviewed by Jake Hysterics of Ziapenko. At the time, who is now the guy from LPL, the LPL play-by-play commentator, I think he's doing a bit of color now, which is crazy. Now, I was actually the color commentator for him for the Open League of Legends series at that point in time that was being held by Riot, and they just kind of got LCL Pro to do it. And from there, I moved into OCS because I was just so like, at that time, like League of Legends was my love. My thing for it. I was challenger. I do what I need to do. Like the players, not only did all the players know me to a degree, like I was, just loving the game as it was, and I could literally just talk through. I mean, you can see right now I can talk out my ass, but man, could I talk League of Legends out my ass back then? It was like my jam, right? I could just feel it, you know what I mean? It was just like that sort of thing. The vibes went through me, went out me, and that's what I just really loved doing. I was watching LCS, I was watching EU LCS, I was watching LCK, I was watching LPL, I was watching every amount of League of Legends because I had so much time for it and I just so much love for it. And that led on to me, eventually keep continuing to do the OCS, jumping into packs, doing stuff at other events, doing other things across the board. And next thing I know, in 2017, I was doing the OPL. I was just so much in there, and it was literally for me like a dream come true. Like I was kind of like, there was sort of the goal that I set out for myself. I wanted to be, in the position that was considered to be the prime place to be for commentating for League of Legends in Australia, and that's the OPL. And there I was on NLCS, and the experiences that I learned that day were insane. Like, definitely had a fantastic time with all the casters, with the production team, everything that happened with that. It was incredible. But the big thing was I was also trying to do my career at the same time, and that's sort of what burnt me out. And I ended up taking honestly a good year and a half break before I went to it. I was doing a bit of coaching, a bit of other sort of stuff in between. But at the end of that, I was dead. And I think if I had to give any real advice to anyone that really wanted to get into commentating, the big thing you need to make sure that is you want it. Like you have to really, really, really want it until you don't, right? If you get into it and you're pumping, and you still want it, just keep going, guys. Like, just keep going for it. But the moment that it hits where you go, oh man, I don't know if this is for me anymore, or if I want it to be like a full-on career, or if I want it to be just that fun side gig that I have on the side, really understand that point, because it will make a difference, not only just your commentating, but your life, right? And for me at that point, that was I had a bit of a burnout moment. And for me, I realized commentating for me just was purely to be for fun. And I love being part of the Sumstock team, donating my time, jumping in, doing stuff for like Activision Blizzard. I've been doing stuff with them recently. So a number of like other things that I've done as well in the past, like, I've done creative destruction, still working for ESL. That's all stuff I've done in recent years. So to be honest, I think as long as you're having fun with it, it's what you really want to be doing, and that you're in a great space. That's the big thing, is you really want it. If there's anyone out there who's an aspiring caster, the biggest thing I can say to you as a point of advice is just put yourself out there. It doesn't matter if your casting's dog shit. Like, I remember when I really first started casting, I was watching like Spawn, Atlas, those guys in League of Legends.
Time.
pastry time. Hell, I was really enjoying Rusty as well. Like, like all these other players and like all these other commentators. Not even that, like Day 9. I really love StarCraft.
Yeah,
its first iteration. Like, so like Apollo. Those guys, right? I really loved it. And part of me when I was watching was like, you know what? I can totally do that. No problem there. Like, this is easy. And then I went in and I actually started doing it. And I was like, holy shit, no, it's not. There is an art to being able to think and say things on the fly. And not only is that a great training just for your general life to get into it. So like if you decide you want to go to casting, not only is it just good for just general life purposes and talking through situations and stuff, it is a real skill that you do need to like sit down and hone and practice. And my biggest thing is like, even if it sucks at the start, if you really want it, work through it and you'll achieve something.
It's the grind, right? Like
it's the grind. It's the grind.
As Teacko's applauding, you want to stand up and applaud right at it, man?
My hero. Actually,
I mean, he basically is his hero at this point, right?
Yeah, no, I got he got me into it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mendrix.
I mean, it like you're definitely the most accomplished out of us all. Like, there's no. Yeah, I actually was kind of thinking like, so I did a couple of RF LAN events, and obviously did meta as well, and like you probably know a bunch of the people that I like worked with at RF LAN. Like, so you might know like, especially the Rocket League guys. Like I work with like Bizer, Renkies.
Yeah, I worked with those guys as well.
Yeah. Renkies is a lad. Bizer is esports grumpy grandpa. I love that man to death, but there are people who don't love the man to death, and both sides are very, very right. He will tell you how it is, and I love him for it. And Conky as well. Conky's doing stuff. He's from Perth. He's so sick. And who else is there? Man,
I know Una. Like,
yeah, of course. Yeah.
Me and Una have done works as well in the past. So I mean, yeah, it's a small knit community, and it's not hard to break into it if that's what you really want to do. Like, I think that's another thing, and people might find it confronting to try and jump into it. We're not gonna eat your head off if you come and talk to us. Like, whether it's me, Teacko, Baz, Weapon, hell, Ewan, Midnight, Formal. If you want to reach out to us in Twitter, we're more than happy to have a chat with you and do it and go through it, because at the end of the day, for us it's a passion, and if you want to hear the full story, hear the full details, we'll do it. No problem on that. We'll give you the best advice to succeed, and we'll help you along the way, and we'll try to integrate you into our family in whatever way we can. But it is part of it. Like, for every time that I've heard someone say I want to get into commentating, there have been 99 voices that have just disappeared out of my life for it. For it's like 1 out of 100 that really realize, I want to keep pushing through it in terms of that, and have talked to me and said, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to get into. And I've had a lot of people throughout the years talk to me about it, and a lot of them have just realized, nah, it's not for me, and that's completely fine as well. But I think the big thing is like, as everyone likes to say, you miss every shot you don't take. And the best thing you do is just reach out to one of us. I'm sure we're happy to help. I'm sorry if I'm speaking for any of you guys there, but I think I am speaking for all of us here when I say.
You definitely are. No, you definitely are.
Yeah.
Like, reach out to us on Twitter, whatever form, Discord. If you can get in, we're happy to have a chat with you and have a discussion.
Yeah, like, I just want to quickly say, like, if anyone out there, like, for whatever reason, for some crazy reason, thinks I'm a good color caster and wants to like get a VOD with you, like, fuck yeah, like, hit me up, man. Like, send me your VOD, send me your stream of yourself, like, fucking talking over like an LEC stream. Like, fuck yeah, I'll give you pointers, because like, I don't know if I'm a necessarily good caster, but I think I can look at a caster and be like, here's what you need to do. I can figure it out.
Yeah, exactly right. I think, again, like Mendrix said, I think all of us stand for that. Anyone in the Samsung team, whether the guys who are here with us now, who are no longer here with us now, and tons of people who've come out of the gates, even just with us. And like, I think we've all always had, I guess, the same mindset. Like, we all want basically for this to be our full-time job. That's our dream, what we want to do. So if we can obviously help other people that we might end up working with later down the line, and helping out, I guess, younger members that could be part of our team later on, of course, we want to help you guys out and move on and get things going. Do I go into my story now? I guess I'll go into my story now. As I was
100%, man. Hit it.
My story is it's probably a lot weirder compared to most people's, I feel, because it's like, I'll try not to bullshit because I tend to bullshit a lot as well when I tell my stories and drag things
Bullshit
out. But yeah, my one, like when I got into casting, I didn't actively look for it. It came to me, which was really strange. I feel as if because again, I like I've not done like OPL or OCS any of that sort of caliber. Hell, I've not even done like the major metagame finals like what Teacko's done and whatever to that degree. But I've still done, I want to say, like, especially in my state where I'm in South Australia, like a lot of the major South Australian stuff I've done over the past few years. Because it's normally done in like our tight knit community that we have here. And that's kind of how I got involved. Because I mean, I was going back to school. Like I didn't finish year 12. I dropped out halfway through year 12. I was trying to find my place in life. A mate of mine recommended me to an adult reentry campus who just happened to have like this state of the art, like all these new fancy cameras and mics and tech and stuff coming in. And was like a gaming focused course coming in, and I was going into it like as a YouTuber, like looking to do YouTube, trying to make the YouTube dream work, like a lot of people were at the time, I think, which was I think 2016, 2017, and we're looking at doing like a podcast similar to this and just other bullshittery. And we basically just got invited one day, like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this esports event. We need people to cast. You're gonna be a caster, and I'm like, I haven't touched League in like 6 months, but okay, sure, why not? Because at the time, like I was basically out of League as well. I was trying to get away from it, like because like I'd played with my mates for so many years, and for me, I don't normally stick to very many games for that long. I like to keep swapping my games and going forward. So League's like the longest game I've stuck with, and I kind of just got dragged on, kicking and screaming a little bit onto the cast, and I was like, all right, well if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right and do my best. And I just did it with a mate of mine. Not to stuff around, but just for fun and just to get things going. And I was just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Ironically enough, there was an OCS team that just happened to be there as well from SL. I think I can't remember the exact name. Someone to do, I think it was like the Renegades or like whatever equivalent, something like that. Someone like that. It had like Valaris was involved. It had Zahi there who was involved.
Valaris.
I had a lot of these lads who were there and like got to meet them, and they came up to us and were like, "Oh, have you guys done casting before?" And I'm like, "This is literally my first time, and the first time I've ever done it." And they gave us the biggest praise and said like the cast we were doing was like better than most that they've heard at the time, like community wise and even like pro wise. They really like our voice, like the way what we talk about and all that sort of thing. And that like motivational boost was insane coming through, because I'm like, here I am, just some dickhead kid basically, just like sitting there chatting at my ass. I got like a caster book I bought for myself like $10 and just wrote as many notes as I could about the patch and champions or whatever. And here I got like guys in the OCS who I didn't even really know properly, and they're just like, oh, here you go, yeah, you're doing fucking amazing, so keep it up. And that was basically like my motivational fire from there. And I guess that kind of plays into like what Mendrix you were saying before about like how like I'm not just casting but plays and stuff, like they're so open to just like accept people in the community, right, and want you to be a part of it and will help you out, because like these guys just got me going from there. And that's where I chased up, like I found SumSoc the following year in the end after dealing with more local stuff. You might have heard on some of the circuit casts about me being, I guess, the grandpa of SumSoc, because that's basically what I am at this point now. I've been through so many different generations, joined by Weapon later the year that I had started, and by Teacko and Mendrix quite a few years after that. Of course, you guys have done other stuff, but just not with us in SumSoc. So I've seen so many generations of people coming through. It was insane. And obviously I've moved to more of a host role off of play-by-play now, because like we've got our awesome play-by-plays, we've got our awesome colors and that as well. So it's not just like play-by-play and color stuff, there's host stuff as well you could look into doing. But that's basically most of my story. I could go into like all these different games that I've tried to do and got into and other events, whatever, but that list is too stupidly long, and like other high school stuff that I talked about last week. But yeah, I mean, mine was by chance. So like as long as you like, I guess, keep like an open mindset, like it can come to you even. It's like don't expect it to, obviously, but I mean that option's always there if you're doing things in similar fields. Because like I said, I was going to doing YouTube and stuff like that, and I was going to do on radio, like kind of like what like you're talking about, Weapon and stuff like that. And it kind of just fell into my lap. So I mean, you never know, right? Yeah, but I did look to see like I did see like, I guess, kind of like with Teacko, I saw like what Mendrix is doing, like with Throwdown and with Hysteric Snuff, and I learned a lot from there, from Cyber Gamer, from ACO, from all those guys, GameStar.
Cyber Gamer, that's it. Yeah, that's an old school one. That's it.
Yeah, like I was watching all the old school stuff and being like, oh man, I love esports, but I never ever thought I'd be a part of it, because I always knew I wanted to be involved in games somehow. I just never knew where I fit in the puzzle, and it seemed to be this is where I fit so far. So, and I feel, is that like the same for you guys as well? Like, you always had a feeling you might be involved in games to some degree. Like, I think Teacko, you said it yourself, like trying to hide away computer, trying to find a way to show that like you're getting something out of it, right? Like, yeah. I want to feel like over the course of 10 years, the mindset is completely changed of like, oh, gaming's for nerds and yada yada, and now it's like, oh, you actually learn like so much out of it so many friendships, so many life skills, right?
Oh, absolutely. For me, I remember like my parents were definitely like, you know, big dissuaders from like the video game industry and everything like that. And then I remember when I started getting like paid for my first cast, and I'm like, hey, I'm getting paid doing this. My mom's like, oh, fuck it, of course you'd find a way to get paid for this. Just you know, just like you just, you know, like just so you could, you know, for the past 12 years of us telling you not to do it, you could just be like that straight back.
So good.
That's always the best feeling in the world, right?
Yeah. No, my parents were about in the same boat. Like, my mom's got a PhD. My dad's got a business degree. Like, these guys, they've gone through higher education, and that's what they know. That's how they know how to live their life. I almost dropped out of year 12. I never was able to complete a uni degree. And so when my dad found out I dropped out of uni, and he said, are you still going to be gaming? I'm like, yes. And he's like, what's going to come of that? I'm like,
I'll figure it out.
Don't know, but I'll figure it out. And then when I told him, I started getting like a little bit of money from gaming and Twitch streaming as well, because that was a little bit happening there. He's like, okay, you just do whatever you need to do.
Just do you.
Yeah, you do you. And my mom's like, I support you. I don't know how to help you, but I support you. I'm like, thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I feel like I'm kind of lucky actually. Like, my parents, they watch my Samsung streams occasionally. Like,
you've got the unicorn parents.
Yeah, like, I'm just chilling.
You got the unicorn parents weapon.
My dad, like,
love it.
My dad, like, whenever I see my dad, I don't see him that often. Like, but like when I do, he'll be like, "Yeah, I watched your cast. I don't know what you were talking about. Couldn't understand a fucking word, but you sounded really confident." Which, by the way, I like casting tip. Like, literally, so anyone who out there wants to be like, particularly a color caster, listen to most color casters. Like, I'm talking like professional casters. Like, listen to like fucking Ender. Like, listen to Cadril. Actually, no, Cadril's a bad example of what I'm about to say. Listen to like, other color casters. They will sometimes say things that are absolutely wrong.
Yep.
Like, just categorically wrong, and you can hear in their voice that they kind of like, there's like a moment of like, oh yeah, what I'm saying is kind of wrong here.
Yeah.
But they say it with such conviction and such like tonality in their voice that you just don't fucking register it. Like, it happens so often. And like part of the biggest lesson you have to learn as a caster early on is just to sound fucking sure of yourself. Because if you do that, people will be like, fuck yeah, he knows exactly what's up. He used the term tempo like 6 times in that video, and he knew exactly what he was fucking on about.
Yeah, and that's literally like what I did. Where like I was just there at the right place at the right time.
100%.
I'd been watching esports for a while. I wrote all these notes and just acted basically, like, to a degree, and then that's what I did. I was more play-by-play over color because I'm more hypey, loud, shouty man, but it's a similar thing. Like, as long as you sound the part and I guess you're interested in it, right, you can learn more as you go, because the only way you're going to learn is if you keep doing it, right? If you don't do it, you're not going to learn. You're not going to get better. You're not going to be able to get these opportunities. It's the same way.
Not to conflate conviction with gaslighting, because they're very similar in terms of what they can do, right?
True.
But the thing is like, I think the thing is like confidence. Like, if you say something, even if it's absolutely wrong with confidence, you'd be surprised how many people will believe you. I mean, like, just look at politicians out there. Look at Trump and how many people he managed to convince he was actually like serious about. That could be a very politically hot take, by the way, mind you. But as you could, like, literally, like, come on, guys, have you not seen my stats? Have you not seen? I am the best at tennis at this point in time. I hit the ball goes straight in that back court. That sounds a bit it sounds a bit like Trump, a bit like Tom Cruise as well. But just to let you know.
Trump Cruise.
Trump, basically my Trump Cruise impression.
It's Trump Cruise.
I'll pay for that rally. I'll go to that.
I'll hit it.
But the whole idea, like no one's better than me at like throwing down a ball. I am the best at throwing down a ball. Have you seen the amount of balls I've thrown down? I've thrown down so many. I've caused dents in concrete. You know what I mean? Like, that sort of concept of just obviously I'm being sarcastic, but imagine that with real confidence, and you can go crazy.
How do you think I've survived for so long?
Yeah, pure confidence.
Yeah.
There's actually another thing you said actually is like one of the most important like learning tools that I've ever kind of gotten actually came from so I actually was trained to be a wrestler for a while. I don't know if I mentioned that, Baz. But so the head trainer at the Explosive Pro Wrestling Dynamite Factory, Mr. Davis Storm, one day said, "Everything starts as a shit version of something else." And he was talking in his case about how the only thing he wanted to be when he first started wrestling was Masato Tanaka. And he would just watch constant Masato Tanaka matches and just like literally shamelessly go out there night after night and just do Masato Tanaka's moves and matches until he became his own wrestler. And like, that's what you do, man. Like you find a caster that you like, or you find like whatever you're trying to do and literally just fucking copy that person top to bottom.
Hopefully one of us, obviously.
Yeah, one of us. Yeah. I want to hear
Mendrix.
I want to hear fake weapon or fake Mendrix. And just like fucking copy that person because you won't.
Teacko, get out of here.
Okay, I'm just a broadcaster now. That's
sorry,
fine.
sorry, man. So here's what's happening. Mendrix was in my peripherals doing the big motion.
No, I get it. It's fine. It's fine. I get it.
No, I want to hear fake. I want to hear fake Teacko as well. Sorry, man. But yeah, like. Yeah, you just have to make huge motions, and I'll see you. But yeah, no, like, yeah, be a shit version of someone else because you won't nail it, and that's important. Like, you will get it like 70% of the way, and the other 30% will be you, and then that percentage will change over time.
I think I'm wrapping this segment up because we actually have been here for quite some time. Like that.
It's been fun.
I continue in the podcast. Still got one more segment to go. How do guys? I just want to get like a final point. Like where do people go now to get into casting, and where do you think they should go? Maybe this is a chance for us to shout out some places to check out. I mean, obviously we're a part of Samsung. Obviously, been part of Samsung for ages, but I mean, these other three guys have been with other groups for quite some time. Especially Teacko. You've been with some big community groups outside of Samsung for quite some time, or at least used to be now as well. And a lot of the casters we have working with us now. There's some of our new guys who've done us recently have been a part of some of the other big OC community groups, and I think. I want to say they're a little bit more accepting of some of the new starter guys. Yeah. Obviously, we're focusing more on covering more, I guess, of filling the what's the term we've been using recently? Scuffed OCS. That's what we are. Scuffed OCS. So that's where our focus is. So we're focusing on like maybe a little bit more established guys who have had a bit of training behind them. But what are some places maybe some other aspiring casters could look towards besides obviously as you said, self-weapon. Checking VODs, recording them, maybe sending them some casts, getting some tips and feedback. But some actual groups they can look towards.
Yeah, so I know of a couple because I know for a fact that our big boss Midnight is not really accepting of new casters or training up new casters within Summoner Society. And so every time a new caster comes to approach him, he says, "All right, we have to train you up the basics first." And then we're going to head you over to one of the other community organizations like BSV, ECB, TMG when they were still a thing, because they've shut down, which is sad because that's I know because that's where the good stuff was happening. But yeah, so
I mean, you were a direct rival to us when that started in 2018 with our circuit Teacko. So I don't know about the good stuff. I think the good stuff was with Steffo, myself, and Finn. I think at the beginning of 2018. So
I don't know.
Like,
TMG had Pro, it had Midnight, it had me, it had Toasted, it had the
you had
people.
Some dude without a top on get yeeted off a mattress at some point. Like definitely professional.
And why do you remember this? Because it was memorable, and that's what you need in a broadcast. Anyway, if
I'll leave it alone.
Have they finished fighting yet, Weapon?
I don't know what's going on. They mentioned Steffo though. Call on out for Steffo.
But okay, so if you're a person that wants to get into casting, the first thing I suggest is to like get some games, commentate over it, get some VODs. Like the only practice you're gonna get by yourself is doing that. And then once you have like the baseline, then approach. Or you can do this before. You can approach someone in a commentating team that you know of or you're able to get in contact with. Get some suggestions from them, see if they have any orgs for you to be able to join, because there are always going to be orgs accepting of new casters and training up new casters. The first two are BSV and ECB. If now, within this current year, go to them.
Yeah.
Otherwise, go to any caster that you know of that would be able to help you, namely us four.
Yeah, like I will also say, like you will probably find like we had that super sick Discord channel like ages back. Remember the like the League Oceanic Casters Discord that just kind of like disappeared overnight. What the fuck happened there? Yeah, I don't want to flip that. So like one thing I've noticed is that the pros are surprisingly more accessible than you would think. Like there have been my first cast, I literally sent that to Rusty and got feedback like that day. Like he's a chill dude, and like he gave me really good feedback to work on. Like basically, don't sound like you're bored the whole time.
Yeah.
Awesome. Like yeah, and then obviously you've got like people like us. Like I'm shit. Teacko's better. Mendrix is fucking awesome. Like you know,
I don't get a comment. That's fine. That's fun. I'll go with that. That's
Baz,
okay.
Good host.
You always miss one weapon.
I always miss one. Baz is the host. You will never be as good as Baz. And that is how it is.
Sorry, guys. That's just the rule. We don't make the rules.
We don't.
They're written themselves.
Look,
that's
you might be able to be a caster one day. You'll never be as good as Baz a host. That's true. But yeah, like you know, there's us. But yeah, like don't hesitate to have the audacity to reach out to pros and be like, hey, can you give me some pointers? Because like they might. Like who fucking knows?
I guess it's my turn. Look, I'd love to be able to throw out there like a shout out to a specific org or a specific thing to say. And I think, to be honest, all the boys have really covered who needs to be said and who wants to say anything. I think I'm just going to go back to one of the things I just said before and just don't be afraid to put something out there. I remember one time I threw out what I thought was probably what this horrible self-Udia commentary that I did, right? And literally the next day it had 1,000 views on YouTube, right? And a lot of like glowing feedback. And you'd be surprised how willing everyone is to like just sort of look at it and say, hey, you know, like this is what I think, and they'll give you their own feedback and there's stuff out there. And mind you, some of the people will probably be horrible. You don't need to like listen to that feedback. Just make sure you figure out what's constructive and just don't be afraid of what people are going to say. Because at the end of the day, it's just words, right? That's what it is. And I think another thing that needs to be mentioned is don't be afraid to listen to yourself after you've done a cast, because you'd be surprised how cringe you will feel the first time listening to yourself say something and discuss something, or perhaps try to say, I remember the first time I listened to myself, I wanted to literally bury my head in the sand and just like keep sinking as low as possible as I could until the world absorbed me and I became one with the universe, right?
Yeah.
Like
hence the creation of esports and yada yada.
Yeah, exactly, right. And at that point, my essence spilled out into the universe and affected the minds of directors. Video games is a good idea to televise, right? And the next thing you know, it happened.
Ooh, money,
money.
We've done it.
Yeah, like literally, you need to sit there and go, yeah, you know, yeah, it's cringe, and I'm gonna do it better next time, and I'm gonna listen to it again. Yes, and so eventually, you're so comfortable. I feel like at the point that you're so comfortable listening to yourself, that's probably when you can comfortably say, I don't need to, but you should still do it every now and again. That's when it becomes less of a regular exercise. You need to get used to the fact that you listen to yourself and you go, I sound horrible. And so you come to a point where it's like, I'm okay with how I sound. And then that's when you know you've sort of hit that peak that's like, yeah, if I think I'm sounding good, probably other people think I sound good too.
And you know, it's not as easy. I want to say to get into. I want to say into casting or esports in general, say as it was a couple of years ago, say 5-10 years ago. I want to say now, especially casting wise, might seem like that. But again, it's like these guys said, just keep practicing. I mean, well, at least for me personally, I went to my mates, like my general friendship group, and it's oh, you want to do like a practice cast with me or whatever. And like, you know, sometimes your mates might be able to help you out like that, so you don't have to just do solo casts as well. So you can just ask, you know, one of your good mates, especially if they play the same games as you or the same competitive game when it gets into, not just League. Even though obviously we're a League cast, but there's more than just League out there as well. That could be a good way to just bounce off each other and maybe give each other feedback while you're casting together. If you're both like going over the same VOD, you're watching esports and stuff and whatever, that can be a good point to go into. And of course, another point as well, like a little bit later on, if you do manage to get yourself into community group, you know, listen to your team. Like make sure listen to your team and work with your team as well. You know, everyone's there for the same reason, right? No one's there to backstab each other or like try and one up each other or anything. Because at the end of the day, esports is not a one-man show. It's a teamwork, it's a team effort, whether you're a player, whether you're a caster, whether you're a broadcaster, whatever it is, right? So listen to your team and always ask for feedback off each other. I mean, that's what we've all done. I've been very lucky. I've said this quite a few times now, but, you know, I've been very lucky that I was with Summon Society. I've been here basically since the start. And again, like I said, I've seen people come in and out, but we've all always been a great team. It's why most of us here, even obviously us four here, and plenty of other guys as well who are still with us, have been here for so long. Like I mentioned, like Weapon and I have been here since like 2018 or so. We're still at it. We're still going. We haven't killed each other yet, so clearly must be doing something, right? So you know how it is. So, you know, if you can work with a team and let's do team well, you guys can all benefit from that as well. So, you know, some cool ways to jump into. I hope you enjoyed, you know, some of our stories coming through. If you want to hear some of the other casters' stories as well, be sure to get them in at some point and hear like maybe how they go into esports. Obviously, though, there's going to be a formal comment somewhere about, oh, we're going to hear about Formal. We're going to know everything about him, the Formal man, or whatever, you know. And obviously, we've got Midnight, you know, we've got Cooper, we've got Hedgie, we've got Quirky, we've got other guys as well that you might want to hear from in a future episode. So we'll have to get them on, get their take on that as well. So hope you guys learned a little bit of something from that. Check out that video as well. I want to say that Teacko brought up the Casting 101 video, if you can find it on the League OCE YouTube channel, because that is such an amazing video as a starting point. I want to say where a lot of the top pro casters now in League of Legends who are still going now give some great points. So definitely a good starting point, especially for League related stuff, if you want to go check that out. But now, finally, a final segment, guys. We are chugging along here. Our final segment here. It is Draftception time. Brand new chill down section here for Weapon and Mendrix. And I know you guys are definitely excited for this.
I'm excited, but I'm also very. I've been up since like 6 a.m. So let's.
Well, this is going to be perfect.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun.
This is going to be so much
wild.
Fun.
Well, these guys get set up here. So just so you guys have some context, Weapon and Mendrix here will be drafting 5 players from any of our current Split 1 Summoners Invitational Circuit season teams here to form a fantasy LCO team. And so, you know, and Teacko and I here got to try and, you know, put our votes down on who we think is the best out of the two. Of course, the guys can't double pick players. Once the player's locked in, that's it. They're locked into that team. So making sure it's even like that. After that as well, the guys will have a mock pro draft segment and try and make the best like team out of the champions available, make their best pro draft team. Then again, Teacko and I will vote on what's the best. It'll be for the first side, it'll be Mendrix with first pick, Weapon on second pick for the players, and that will be reversed afterwards. So Weapon will have first pick of the champions, with Mendrix having the second pick. So guys, I believe we are ready now to start the Draftception, to start the drafting of the LCO teams. Do we have team names? We're going to make some funny, some neat team names.
Oh, okay, yeah. What should we call our teams?
Weapons. I don't know.
The Mendrixes.
Can I be Can I be Mendix?
Yeah, Mendix and Weapons.
Yeah, Mendix. Yeah, I'll just go with Mendix.
And Weapons.
Yeah, Weapons.
All right, cool. So do I get to go first? Is how it's operating?
Yep.
Yeah, yep.
All right, cool. No worries. So for top, I want blue for top lane.
Already out of the gates.
Windmill slam. Yep. Okay, I feel it. All right, I'm gonna actually pick up Suho Chionsa.
Oh, Suho, nice. Okay, so 1 top laner, 1 support picked up.
I'll type after I talk. Suho Chionsa, and I think I want my. Oh, what do I want here? I'm probably gonna go with Refury.
Okay. Not a bad choice. He's going to have that star fire now, you know, so some of the shit talk ability. So he's going to try and back that out.
Fair enough. No,
got the branding picks.
Yeah.
That's okay. So, I mean, so you've picked your mid and your support. Your mid and support.
Yeah.
So if you pick your mid and your support, I want to pick up, I'll pick up my AD and my, what was my AD and my jungle, I think. Is it? Yeah? Is that what I want? Yeah.
Sounds good.
I want my AD.
Deciding heavily right now on what.
Yeah, I want Mendrix for AD.
Nice.
My jungle. For jungle, I want Bose.
Ooh, wow. That's
okay.
That is contentious. All right. Okay, interesting. So I'm definitely going to go AD carry here because I think.
Yep, I've lost you, but where are you getting?
Yeah.
All right. Hang on.
Weapons picks are so powerful, guys, that his mic's cutting it out. So
we'll
fix that for a moment.
Right now.
As he does fix that one out. But I'm actually surprised to see Boss picked up, though. That's that's the bottom tier team in the 6 so far. So you're putting a lot of credit on the Boss here.
So I'm gonna pick Akira / what does he go by in our circuit? Bobby Olegon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's my 80 carry pick. And then for jungle, it's Jungle Man. No, it's
we know we're not allowed substitutes, and I already
Yeah,
know
we're
that.
not.
Okay. I already made it. I was like, because you're like, who would you want to substitute? I was like, Jungle Man. You're like, oh shit.
This
Oh, man, yeah.
team won't stop sucking off Jungle Man. Anyway,
he's too good. Then he gets to LCO, and it's not good.
Yeah.
Nah, he'll pick it up. Let's see. I think I'll go with someone just like I got some firepower in my lane, so I'm gonna go with Less I Know. Just to be that kind of consistent juggler, I think.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
It's over to you, buddy.
Yeah, 2 final picks for the Mendrix here.
So I want Selfish for mid,
Ooh.
Yep.
Ooh,
Fair.
okay.
and I want
fair choice.
Rusty for support.
Ooh, interesting. Okay. All right. You got a
That's
very.
looking like a lineup.
That's
Alright.
okay.
Okay.
So here's where so you've taken blue away, which is obviously going to be difficult. I think I've got a bit of a weak side bot side with Suho and Akira, so I can play for priority there. So I could play through Fury. I want somebody who can play both roles. Oh man, this is tough. I think I'm probably actually just going to go with Dynasty.
All right.
That's a gamble pick. I'm feeling weird about that one, but I mean, I'm hoping he can happily play weak side.
Honestly, I was thinking you're going to choose IZH then.
Oh no!
He's locked that in. That's it.
I'm surprised you didn't pick up Tron the Pom. You know, like
Yeah.
So I'm not formal. Tron's good. I've yet to see it in our circuit. Formal's had more exposure to Tron, so like he's good. Like he's good for sure, but he's not like the way Formal hypes him up levels of good.
Formal's old man yelling at the clouds right now.
Yeah. Like he's
absolutely.
Yeah, like I have no doubt that Tron is awesome, but like I haven't seen enough to justify picking him. I think Dynasty's been smurfing. I am so sad I didn't pick up Ears. That was really dumb.
We literally talked about him all this week on the circuit, all during this recorded episode. And Dynasty, yeah, he seems like he's a big one.
Yeah. No, Dynasty Smurf. I'm reasonably happy with that.
All right, so Teacko, now we've got to do the fabulous job on choosing who won out of the drafts here, because this is tough, man. Like, there are some really good choices on both sides.
I've already got my pick. Like you're right. I honestly think that Weapon's first 2 choices, Suho and Rare Fury, were good. And I think that they'd be like the strong part of his team.
Yeah.
But overall, Mendrix, I think, has it for me.
Wow.
Yeah, I think I might want to agree with that. Do I do what I don't. Like, I have a lot of faith in Suho and Refill. I have a lot of faith in Suho for a start to carry a game out of support role. But you're guaranteed blue. Like, if you can, of course, we're going to get to the draft phase, but if you get blue what he wants, he's set. You get Mendrix what he wants. I mean, he's good anyway, but he's also set. Selfish is really starting to show up recently. I'm really keen. It's this boss jungle pick where I'm like, I don't know, but like I trust it. I can see where things are going. I trust it.
Yeah.
This fucking Dynasty pick, man. Like,
So I'm
no offense to Dynasty, but like, I don't know, like stat wise and like game wise and role the champ wise, I have to go Mendrix. I have to.
We got stats on some of. I've brought up the stats for a Dynasty. I'm sorry. His KDA is currently 4, so his kills are 4 average over the past 4 weeks. Death 3.8 and assist 5.8. Those very mediocre.
Mediocre, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm basing that off the fact that I've seen what I've seen in his play. I think he's one of those like aggressive carry top laners, so I think has a lot of potential and is very potentially coachable into playing as a weak side role as well.
Fair enough. But he's playing into blue.
Yeah. Which okay.
I think I do want to definitely talk about my Boast jungle pick.
Please go.
I feel like this is a man with OCS experience. And every single time you see him play with Dissonance. He really is the consistent shining light throughout it. I honestly believe you give him laners that can complement him, he will be a completely different monster on the field.
Yeah. And that's what I'm talking about. That's why I trusted. I'm like, I'm seeing the lineup he's with now here. You've got Mendrix, you've got Selfish, you've got Blue. I mean, you've got 3 carry players right here that can do work in any of their lanes, right? So like,
and then Rusty's such an amazing roaming support. His ability to see the map. I reckon he can sort of like, oh, well, Blue's not too hot. Oh yeah, Selfish is looking good. You know, I like Bose needs a bit of it. Like he's able to pick out those things. His roaming ability just with those players, I think, just complements everything.
Yeah. So sorry, man.
No, you go. You're good.
So I will just quickly say, my choice to choose Suho as my support here. I was actually kind of thinking about this earlier, kind of like thinking about support styles. Suho strikes me as a player who, like, he doesn't roam a lot. Like, he doesn't get out of his lane, and whether that's, you know, a symptom of his drafts or whatever. But, like, this is a guy who will clutch the hell out of a fight and who will, like, go for those, like, 1 in a million hooks. And when I look at a player who I want to bring into my, like, imaginary LCO squad, the weapons, like, I can coach this guy to be like, here's your window to roam. Or, like, you know, my coach, whoever I hire. We can coach this guy to be like, yeah, here's your window to roam. Here's what you do at tempo. Suho's the boy who lands that hook when he gets there, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Well, like to like help W down on your pick, if you had chosen Rusty, I would have gone to Suho. So Suho was my close second, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's more like, I think with my point of view, I think it's like, I already know a lot about like the Mendix, the pickups. A lot of those players, they've definitely established themselves a lot more than the weapon side. Some of them have, some of them I've not seen enough of yet. So that's where I'm like, I got to go with my gut, you know. But unfortunately, we can't see this match actually play out, which is a bit sad.
Could we?
How good would it be if we put this
show match?
Actually, this would be a really nice show match.
Yeah,
could be fun.
We'll sort this out. We'll save this. We'll save this.
And we force them onto like the picks.
Yeah.
We just get to like use our like caster clout to just like be coaches for one day.
and then watch is like when we get to the patch where you get to play him on, the championship picks suck.
Oh no!
Patch to get nerfed into the ground. It'd be fantastic. Speaking of, time to move to that draft now. Of course, the champ draft here. So the Mendix 1-0 up so far here on weapons right now. So now it's time for the draft phase. I'm not gonna lie, Teacko, this is definitely more your wheelhouse over mine here, but I'll try my best to judge accordingly.
Okay.
All right. Readied up?
Yeah, hit it up. This is my first time using ProDraft, to be perfectly honest, so let's see how we go.
The time is stressful, but other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. I think
watch out for that fat finger. Don't misclick. You know, don't.
So I'm on blue side here, which means obviously I get first pick and I get the first ban. You will never guess what my first ban is going to be. The information.
I think it's Fiora.
It could be that.
Okay. Well, he did say we'd never guess it. So what's
true.
Wait, from what I understand, if you start the pro draft, don't I see it? Has this already been started, or I don't see it?
I'm waiting for it to be. I think you have to hit ready.
Yeah, you have to ready up.
Yeah.
How do I hit? I don't see ready up.
There should be a button underneath that says ready up.
No, like I don't have that. I don't have that specifically. Let me
okay. Give me a second. You might need to reload the page or something.
There's Mendrix, yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. Ready, check. Cool. So let's do this stuff. All right. I'm readying up. Go for it.
All right. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? It's a mystery.
Oh yeah. Straight away off the bat. Okay. Well, I think mine's gonna be pretty.
We didn't see you. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I'm liking these bands so far.
Quick.
These are some big bands, yeah.
Yone.
Okay, for the audio listeners at home, because you can't see this here, obviously. So Weapons has banned out Yone first. Mendix followed up with the Thresh, followed by Silas, followed by Nautilus. So big bands, obviously some target bands towards certain players. We've been keeping up with the Invitational Circuit so far, of course. Selfish and Yone just recently put on a show. Losing Thresh, obviously not a surprise. Same with the Nautilus ban, the Fiora bans, and now it's blue targeting with Silas and Fiora. What's the last ban for ban phase 1?
Look, I don't think it should be a target ban towards another support away, but
Yeah, center.
Eh,
Okay.
You piece of shit.
Okay.
fair enough.
Weapons a big fan of the center and the farming center. So
This is a ban against weapon, not against the players.
yeah.
That's 100% a ban against me, you piece of shit.
All right, the Scion hover here. Galio
Well, that's a
actually gets locked in
flex.
first.
Okay.
Okay, Suho.
We were
He's
talking about
pretty good.
we
Pretty
were
good
talking
Galio
about weapon picking Everfrost on Gallia, so I wonder.
It is the build, by the way. if anyone,
okay.
anyone
Yeah,
listening in,
he's
you want to play
easiest
Galio?
lock in the world for Mendrix with Kaiser. I mean, it's up. You take it. It's a no-brainer, right? Alistair hover. All right, that's in.
Okay.
So Vendrick and Rusty, Kaiser and Alistair. I'm keen with that. The Zaya Galio, Zaya insta-lock, by the way, with the Galio there. So Suho and Bobby. I'm pretty sure I've seen Bobby use Zaya a couple times before. I could be tripping balls, but I swear I've seen him do pretty decent on him before. So J4 hover for the final pick for first, or for blue side. So weapons.
I think this goes through. Yeah, I think this goes through.
All right. So far, Galio Zaya Jarvan against Kaiser Alistair and an insta-lock on Hecarim. I'm going to say so far, Mendrix's champ pool is looking good. I'm not going to lie. It's looking real nice.
And let's see what's available. So, what are you missing? Ooh, I know what you're missing.
Oh, Oriana van. Okay, that's big, sitting with the J4 and the Galio.
Yep. Okay. Dan's here. Let's see. You're missing a top laner and a
I know that. I know what I'm also knowing I'm going to ban next as well.
mid. And you've got who's in the mid lane? Selfish. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So Weapons got 7 seconds left on his second to last ban here. First ban for second phase. Oh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
Oh, he loses it.
He missed the ban. Nah gets banned for the final ban as
That
well.
was literally going to be my ban, so that's fine.
20 seconds left for the final ban in general for this draft so far. Teacko, any thoughts so far? You're just absorbing it all in?
I am. Well, I think Mendrix has a really powerful AD carry and has paired that with a really good support that's going to be heavy engage so far with the Hecarim diving on the back line. Just a lot of support in terms of Zaya dying.
Yeah.
But in saying that, like, that's only going to be targeting Zaya. If they have, like... I'm not going to give away any champions that Weapon might be able to pick up here. But, you know, healthy champions might help.
Echo band Lucian picked up. Okay. I like that a lot. I like that so much. That's actually like probably one of my favorite picks so far. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. 20 seconds left for Weapons. Syndra hover.
Okay.
Yeah, good damage. I mean, I'm pretty happy with Syndra. Pretty good burst.
Outrange the solution.
Yep.
It goes even in lane, so I think that gives me what I need. It means I have to flex a little bit on my original plan, but I'm willing to do that.
And he's got one more pick here. My issue right now, actually, you know, I might leave it. I'm not going to say it. I won't say it, but there's a big issue I'm seeing right now. GP, Gangplank, final pick up here.
So who's
Weapons
blue
lineup?
Who's blue picking?
Yeah, so Weapons lineup is Galio, Zaya, J4, Syndra, and Gangplank. Mendrix lineup is Kaiser, Alistair, Hecarim, Lucian, and one other for blue potentially. But I'm seeing again something I'll leave to the end, I think. But Malphite.
Wow. Okay.
So here we go. So weapons, Galio, Zaya, J4, Syndra, Gangplank for the team lineup. Yone, Silas, Fiora, no ban because he's smart like that, I guess. And Echo with the bans. And for Mendrix's lineup, Kaiser, Alistair, Hecarim, Lucian, and Malphite locked in with Thresh, Nautilus, Senna, Oriana, and Na for the bans. And Teacko, I don't know about you, but I've got big issues now with Mendrix's lineup compared to what it was at the start.
How about we let them explain their
yeah, I'll let them explain, but at the moment, I don't know. I was pretty keen on Mendrix's lineup before the final two lock. I'm not gonna lie. So, Weapon, you go first as the first pick. Why the selection?
Sure thing. So the Galio was a flex. You called it out. I was looking to either have who the hell's my mid laner? Refury.
Off to a great start.
Who is that best in class mid laner that I picked? Oh, yeah, it was Refury.
Yeah.
And I'm going to put him on Galio. So I was thinking the Galio pick up to flex towards the mid lane. Basically, it was going to be like either that or putting Suho on his rel. But I can't remember what the pick was that made me flex that. It was the Lucian, actually. Never want to play Lucian play Galio into Lucian. You get the shit kicked out of your lane. That sucks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, flexi Galio towards the bot side, played the Syndra. That's going to be my strong side. That's going to be the side where I think less I know the better is going to be playing towards. The other two lanes are just going to be literal farm lanes, although the Malphite does kind of throw that off. But the key here is we're looking for mid prio, and we're looking to get to objectives first through mid lane, and then have Gangplank support the fights, and then it's just disengage the engage attempts.
Cool.
And Mendrix, your thought process.
So I specifically picked the Lucian to force the Galio into the bot lane because he will have a rough time into the Alistar. He won't be able to pull off his abilities to do what he wants to do, and sustain should win out overall. Also adds to the fact that Rusty's capability to roam is unparalleled, and he will find roaming potential anywhere he needs to. Geist is a relatively good support in both in the 2v2 aspect and also the 1v2 aspect. So to support ADC in both aspects, so I'm fine with that. So the Lucian pickup also will also complement Selfish the fact that he was an AD at one point as a solid mid lane. In most cases, like Weapon said, it will be even in against most lanes. There isn't really anyone he'd really go up against and have an issue with. So it was happy for me to go into it. The Malphite I chose for the weak top because really there wasn't anyone that would actually benefit Blue's potential to actually match with the split push. So I figured, you know what, I've got two self-pill ADCs. I need a little bit more magic power to round it out. And Blue has been known to play Malphite as well in the past to great success. So let's swap him around. Let's give him the Malphite and let him find those great teleport TPs that I've seen him do in the past.
That's why I was very happy with the Lucian. I knew straight away thought process straight away. Selfish, give him the Lucian, such a good pick, force the Galio out, amazing. I'm just not convinced on this Malphite with Blue because just off of this season's results alone. Tank play, just dead. Just didn't do anything, didn't contribute to the map at all. Not comfortable, I want to say, at least in the past few weeks, by the looks of it anyway. Could that have changed recently? I mean, we haven't seen ourselves yet. He's still gone to the carry stuff again and been okay on that so far. But yeah, that's the big, because everything else I'm pretty happy with. It's just that Malphite to me, it's just...
Look. Yeah. Did my audio go out?
And it's going to...
No, you're good to go.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, no, you go ahead, Teacko. You go through. I'll defend it afterwards.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's what I mean. The champion itself I'm happy with. It's the player who's playing the champion that I'm a bit iffy with.
Yeah. No, it's a good pick for a composition. For this composition, it's not a good pick for the player. Because, I just highlighting on what Baz said, like, every time we've seen Blue play on a tank, he hasn't really done much. And I guess that's sort of what tanks are supposed to do, just take the damage and run. But Blue just hasn't had the same impact on tanks as some other players have. And I know that Midnight says this a lot. He's a huge advocate on making sure that Blue's on a carry champion. Malphite plays well in terms of the dive onto the backline with the Alistar, with the Hecarim, with the Kai'Sa, with the high mobility of Illusion. Malphite is able to lock down a couple members and make sure they die very, very quickly. I don't know if Blue's going to be able to pull that off, or be able to get to a point in the mid game where they're going to be able to then carry their laning phase on into a successful 5v5 team fight where it stays even up until that point.
If it's like with Blue, like what you see is what you get type deal, you know, like obviously we can make the comment of, we can coach him to be like that, but like we got to go off of what they're like now. And obviously he's still a younger player, he's still learning a bit. He's obviously an amazing player in a particular role. When he's in his shining role, he is golden, right? He's one of our like standout players. But yeah, I don't know, because I look at the lineup that Weapon brought now, and I'm fairly happily across the board. Again, it's the bot lane. That'd be an interesting matchup because we've seen a similar matchup happen in the past few weeks, and that's definitely Mendrix's favorite side in terms of the champs alone. But yeah, I don't know. Like discounting the Malphite thing, I feel like it's like 50-50 for different reasons now. I don't know. It makes it difficult for me to choose one.
Yeah. Weapons tanks are gonna have a field day though. They only have to build armor.
Yeah.
Like Galio he's a magic resist champ, but he can still build armor and he can soak up some of the damage from the Lucian, the Hecarim, and I would say half the damage from a Kai'Sa until she stacks up all 5 of her passive procs. But except other than that, like their J4 and the GP, because I'm assuming that the Alistair, the Hecarim, and the Malphite are going to be focusing fire on the Syndra, the Xayah. Xayah hopefully is going to be able to use her ultimate in time to be able to disengage. And while all that's happening, the J4 is going to lock down a couple members, and the GP does some damage on the side with the barrels. So
yeah, I feel like there's like a timer attached to this game.
Yeah,
where like Mendrix can definitely do a great engage, but Weapon's able to disengage and re-engage so well. And if the game drags out, that could be deciding factor. That's how I feel. I could be entirely wrong, but that's how I see it. But
I would actually, and to be honest, like you guys, you're not looking at this the way I do it. I would put, I'd literally get Bose to hard gangplank the entire game.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Have that support. Yeah.
Right. So the thing is the reason why is because Kai'Sa will be fine. Lucian will be fine. Malphite will always be pushed in. Malphite, it'll be such an easy gank. And the thing is, if it ever gets shoved into his tower, Malphite and Hecarim can easily gank that. The GP the GP can't use Orange's K. The GP.
I mean, you don't know how many oranges. You might have a lot of oranges. You never know.
Yeah. And the J4, like if it forces the J4 to like always be top, that's fine with me as well. Because that means the rest of my team will come out on top. That's my feeling.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I feel like I feel that's where there's a bit of a timer, but I don't know. I feel like I need to see this play out. Like I can't give a 100% confident answer just because of the players in the lineup. Like it could go either way.
Yeah.
It literally just comes down to how the player's feeling on the day. I feel
we need to organize this.
We need that show match. We need that show match.
Yeah. We need the show match there.
Like a player lineup, I'm pretty confident with Mendrix's player lineup, but with the champ lineup, I feel like it's evening out entirely. I thought that this might be a problem when we get to this part. I'm gonna be like, oh shit, that's where I'm at right now.
I will just quickly say, so we're loading into game, and I'm like, okay, guys, just remember you want to disengage these fights around key objectives and look for your engage with the gangplank out covering your retreat. Bobby, yeah, cool. You've already got the plans. Yeah, nice, good job. Yeah, nice.
You can't Glenn's a Malphite ultimate.
He just activates it, just sends Malphite flying back the other way. That's it.
That's the way it should work. Yeah. No, it might even be a barrier game, to be honest.
Yeah. This is absolutely a barrier game.
Yeah. Like Galio runs heal and Xayah runs barrier, just so you can survive.
I kind of want to leave this. It's a bit of a cop out. I kind of leave this to when we see a show thing, but it kind of defeats the purpose. So we need to give an answer.
I do.
I
think so.
Do you have one, Teacko? Do you? I'm so blank right now. Like I'm literally just gonna be like this one. That's it. No reason, just this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say like 55-45 in favor of a weapon.
Ooh, okay.
All right. So like the Malphite pick is really good.
Yeah.
Like really good.
I can't get it out of my head of Malphite good, Blue on Malphite bad, even with support. But
so like
I know the support will be good though, which is what's like tearing me apart right now.
Yeah.
I was trying, and you probably felt it, Mendrix. I was trying so hard to bait you into picking Nah.
But
I feel like Blue might have been better on the Nah though. Even
no, not against
GP. Not a GP thing. Just more. I want to say more confident on the champion. I'm trying to think both ways. I think that's still in my head at the moment. I'm trying to think both player and champ wise, and it's just like
gotta pick one, Baz.
I know.
Weapons or Mendix?
Yeah, weapons or Mendix. Emphasis obviously on the men.
Mendix.
Yeah. I don't say because if I choose weapon, right, then it's a draw, and then we got nowhere.
It doesn't matter. You
We
gotta
need an
pick the
impartial tiebreaker.
rightful owner of the winner of this.
All right, I'll go. Nah, you know what? I had faith before. I can't go off my gut. I'll go with Mendrix team. I think I got to. I got it. I had faith. I have faith in the players. I had faith in all the selections, the bands, and everything up to the last one. But I still think that support. Now that I just explain it because I'm a monkey and I don't know anything anyway. I'll go with that. I'm still very happy with weapons choice though, and I could have easily have gone for that one. Like I'm so torn right now, but I have to choose one. So
GG. Well, I mean, I think the ultimate test is just to put the boys into it and see what they see if they're willing to play.
100%.
This is like Hedgie being like, "Oh my god, boys, we finally got a good draft." After 2 weeks of me doing it, I'm actually happy. Let's go.
Honestly, like, that Malphite pick is nasty, and I feel like I've just literally walked into a brick wall.
Yeah. When I saw GP, I was like, "Oh, fuck!" I'm like, who does blue? Who do? Because I don't like. I've got enough carries, to be honest. Because I was going to put blue on a carry, to be perfectly honest. But when I saw the game plank, I was like, fuck, man. Like, you like, the problem with GP is if you pick a carry into GP will happily just sit back and just kill barrels the whole way.
Yeah.
And, like, mind you, like, blue's probably happy with that too. But I want blue to be able to, like, fucking get in there, you know what I mean? And he's got more than enough to get in there. And I also believe that back line cannot survive an Alistair, Hecarim, and Malphite jumping in. And my 2AD... very self-sufficient in their own rights, so I think I'm happy to go a full frontal engage, rest of it, and just let those two fend for themselves.
Also, the center band, like, you goddamn know that my first pick on blue side was going to be Scion every goddamn time.
Yeah,
it was going to be the Scion flex into like the farming center or the weak side top, that you just read it and shut it down with literally one pick.
Well, I think we'll leave it at that then for now, gentlemen. I mean, again, amazing drafts on both sides. We have to get that game organized, hopefully. I want to say on camera and commit for us to organizing it, but there's no commitment to it actually happening. There's the barrier. We want to do it, but if it's the players can do it.
We've got 10 boys that need to all agree. That's, you know, and to be honest, if one says no, it's kind of like no point. You know what I mean? It needs to be all 10. I'm an all or nothing kind of guy with this one, so just putting my voice out there.
Maybe we should put it out to Twitter or put it in like Twitch chat or something.
Yeah, maybe we could have it as like a show game, maybe for finals or something like that. I mean, you know, we'll figure it out, guys. We'll figure it out. We always sort stuff out. We'll figure it out. But that's Draftception, and that's episode 4 for League Down Under for the 2021 season. So I hope you guys did enjoy everything this episode portrayed. Definitely our longest one so far. Probably our most informative one so far. And Ratchet at the same time. We ticked to both boxes. I don't know how we managed to figure that one out, because normally it's one end or the other. But there you go. So anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy everything that was that episode. And of course, with Association of Summoner Society, follow Summoner Society and everything that we do. Facebook, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, and of course YouTube, because that's where you can check out the VODs for everything League Down Under. Of course, this one will be going up there. You can check out our previous VODs that are already up and available. Of course, beforehand, we'll have our premiere of League Down Under on the Saturday of this recording. Hopefully this weekend of the Saturday there, we'll be able to react live to everything here. So that'll be an experience, I want to say, to a number of things in the live reaction from a lot of people, I think. And so outside of that, check out the Sumstock shop as well. As we mentioned, of course, all the merch for the circuit merch, all the proceeds for that goes towards the prize pool of the Split 1 Invitational Circuit. So not only are you getting yourself some cool clothes, you're supporting the players and the teams playing for the cash prize as well. And that's always a benefit for everyone involved. So go check that out over on the Summoner Society shop. And of course, week 5 of the circuit happening on the 22nd of March, which is a Monday, from 6:10 Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time for the Game 1 kickoff. An hour beforehand, roughly, for the actual stream kickoff to catch a little bit of this and the pre-show going forward. And if you're watching the VOD past the 22nd of March, the VOD for that circuit episode will be up on the YouTube, the Summoner Society YouTube as well. So still be able to check it out and enjoy the matches that were happening coming forward there. So big thanks to you guys for being here, League Down Under. You know, Teacko, we've had you here for 50 years now, it feels like. So I know you want to die inside. But Weapon and Mendrix, did you enjoy your time here?
Great time.
Yeah, it's been awesome, man.
I like it's only positive. They're not allowed to say negative. It's only positive. There's guns behind them somewhere. No, only positive. That's it. The massive animated screen from Mendrix is actually 5 guys with guns hiding behind that.
I said it.
Coming soon. Of course, if you want to check out the audio version of everything here, where you don't get to see funny video and visual cues like that, you can do so. Link that under Spotify. And of course, our audio platforms that we have to list, which is Breaker, Castbox, Google Podcasts, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public. We don't really know any of them, but hopefully some of you guys do, and you can check them out over there because there's some great audio services outside of Spotify to check out as well. And obviously you can download them, listen to them, on the way to work, whatever. Now, a few of our guys tend to do that don't get to be on the episodes. And found out a couple of you guys at home also do similar things. So I hope you continue to do so because we love doing these, and we hope that you guys love them as well, and that we can keep supporting us with them. So as if episode 4. We're going to wrap up now. Finally, we've been here for 60 years. We'll catch you next week. If you're seeing this live or the premiere on the Monday for the circuit. Otherwise, we'll see you hopefully in the next episode of League Down Under, or maybe later on down the line in any other esports adventures that any of us are a part of. Take care, guys.